Okay, so that long-awaited moment has finally come. We will be getting into the grand finals in just a while. Euronics Gaming versus eSuba. That's what we will get to see right here. And of course, eSuba were the favorites walking into the entirety of this tournament, starting from the very group stages. But at that point, I thought that still we're going to get a good, packed LAN finals. We get to the LAN finals. Unfortunately, some teams are not up to the competition, but Euronics Gaming definitely is not that kind of a team. These guys have improved themselves even more after the first match against Ecstatus, this time decisively knocking them out, and thus also proving that against eSuba they mean business. But is it going to be enough? eSuba is a very, very strong lineup. Euronics, this is not the same team that's playing in the Challenger Series qualifiers and along the lines in these tournaments. They might have mixed a little bit with the main lineup right here, but it still remains the secondary team. And eSuba, they've been together for a very long time. They are training daily in a gaming house. They are actually living the dream. They're living the League of Legends, living the esports, while Euronics Gaming are fighting to do so. Right now, beating eSuba is definitely going to be a nice step towards that. And as I already mentioned, the last time they faced off against eSuba, they were not able to win it. But it still remains the same. If they're able to take them down, it's going to be a good signal to their organization that they are not as bad. They're not to be the secondary team. They're just as good as the Team A, and they will want to take their spots. And good luck with that, definitely, because they have some good potential out there. And this is a best of 3. Everything can change a little bit. The top laner of Euronics Gaming has told us that he prefers the best of 3s definitely to best of 1s. And I'm quite sure that a lot of the players, or all of the teams, would say that best of 3s are much better than best of 1s in not only League of Legends, but in every esports. Like, the bigger the best of is, the best of series is, the bigger of a chance you have to adapt to your enemy if something goes wrong. I guess the only players that would say that they prefer best of 1s or shorter matches would be the ones that are extremely cocky and know that they will win any kind of match. But even to that, to these kind of teams, upsets can happen. So I'm not too sure if there's anybody like that in the world. They would have to be really arrogant. But that's not happening right here. eSuba, they're extremely humble of a team, even coming in as the favorite into this matchup. And Euronics Gaming, you can clearly feel the respect that they have towards eSuba. They feel like this time they have what it takes to be able to beat eSuba, but they definitely prefer it to be a best of 3, even if once again they lose the first map right here. There will be some time to recover, and right now they are discussing their strats for the up-and-coming match. And right now, eSuba are sitting right next to each other. Some of them even sleeping, as I can see, the middle laner out there. Yeah, the trophy in the middle that you can see is what they're fighting for, alongside with some prize money in there. So on the line in this match is going to be 2,250 euros, 750 for the second place, 1,500 for the first place, plus the trophy. And of course, they already received their travel packages, which were worth about 500 euros each, to help them travel over to Hamburg right here. And of course, also they're going to have some good time. They're going to have some fun time after the matches with us in year 2. So definitely looking forward to that. But for now, the grand finals is waiting. You can you could see on your screens some players from Euronics Gaming discussing right there. You could see on the stage the members of eSuba. Here is the trophy, and that is given out to the legends right here. But also, we have a different thing going. It's called Esports Superstars. This far, it was held in Hearthstone. It was an amazingly big tournament in Hearthstone, and we have a huge trophy, huge cup actually, that has the winners' names engraved in them. And I'm quite sure that the Esports Superstars will also be coming in different games. After all, you can see it on my right-hand side. There is even a banner left over from that event, and definitely looking forward to more of that stuff happening, but in different games too. I myself am not so good at Hearthstone, so I regret that I couldn't be a part of it. But when League of Legends comes, or Counter-Strike, or any other game, I'm definitely gonna love to join in on the fun. eSuba versus ESG, though, that's what is ahead of us. And for the strong parts and the weak links of both of the teams, not really sure which to point out right here on eSuba. On ESG, definitely Donart has some situations where he doesn't perform as good as on the others. I'm quite sure that the Gragas is going to be taken away from him right now. So there's a possibility that eSuba are not going to give him any kind of an opening. Humanoid, after all, Pretty has proved that it is possible to try and shut him down. If he comes up with an idea like this a little bit earlier this time in the match, then there is a possibility that he'll be the one that gets the advantage and not only just tries to recover, and that could be a huge step towards victory. Yaki made a massive mistake in the best of one against ESG last time, so they definitely will not want to do that again. And overall, I feel like maybe eSuba will cover the vision a little bit better in terms of that, but maybe let's take a look at the road that both of these teams had to take to find themselves here on the LAN final first of all, and then in the grand finals of this final, because these are the winners of Group B and C. If I'm not mistaken, it's Euronics and eSuba, and Euronics were actually the only ones to drop a single map. And right now we're seeing what's happening right here on LAN. It's eSuba beating... oh, excuse me. That's a little bit mixed up right here. But yeah, basically, this is the group of eSubas. They beat Echo Zulu, they beat Instinct later on, and they had to face off against Instinct again in the grand finals right there. But as I mentioned, it was a best of one actually, not the best of three as it says right here. So that was a little bit of a shame that that we didn't get to see like more elaborate battles in these matches, in the most important matches in the grand finals of the groups. But anyway, here's where we get to see the best of three. Though against Ekazulu, it was not as easy, but for every single team that dominated their group, it looked pretty much the same. They all followed the same pattern. They had quite a good first match, but it looked like they had some weaknesses that could be expanded, but then they completely demolished the rest. Right here, Euronics, they had a hiccup. They lost against Gameiser, and then from that point on, with Donarts playing on his Kazakhs and not being able to do much, I thought that they might be the first ones to get knocked out of the group, but then they destroyed Impact Gaming, they destroyed Supernova, and have led themselves all the way to the grand finals, being the only victors of the finals in the groups from the losers brackets, which is also interesting. But yeah, due to just one big mistake, to just one game where their jungler was completely non-existent, then facing off against Gameiser again, they finished them off really quickly. So they fixed that mistake instantly, and that makes me think even more that these guys are capable of adapting to the situation. So there is a chance that now facing off against eSuba, having faced off against them already just a couple of hours ago, they know how to get through it. And yeah, if it's possible, I would also love to see the group that we have going on right here on the LAN tournament on the screen right now. But what you can see in the upper left corner of your screens also is a Garen collectible giveaway, and that's definitely something that you should go for. Exclamation mark giveaway in the chat, and you'll get to see the rules and how to participate and all that, and how to win something for yourself. Connected to League of Legends, so it's not only great fun, great games, but also a possibility to win for you guys. And luckily, Ecstatus are here on the LAN tournament, because last time it was a lot of people from Ecstatus winning, if I'm not mistaken. Like their manager or their coach won one of the figurines, and one of the players also got one. So yeah, it seemed a little bit unfair. Luckily enough, they won't get to do that again. Anyway, though, eSuba, first of all, they beat Bulldog Esports very one-sidedly, and we were a little bit late with the start of the tournament. Of course, it's the LAN tournaments, so something can go wrong always. Not everybody's going to be prepared on time if they come a little bit late, or if some issues show up. Like the first issue that the teams encountered was the German keyboards and stuff, so Bulldog really wanted to change that because they couldn't really type in passwords or all that stuff. Installing some drivers also was a little bit problematic, but yeah, that got solved. We kicked off with a very quick match by eSuba, but they helped us get back on tracks in terms of the schedule real quickly. And then Euronics have beaten LZX status. So these were the first matches of these two teams in the tournament. Both of them had quite easy matches, but I would say that Euronics, it was not as easy as they would have expected maybe, and it was not as easy as their second match against LZX status for sure. For eSuba though, when they faced against Euronics, they showed us why they are the favorites walking into this tournament, beating them quite convincingly, although having moments where it was even. But that's the scary thing. It was not a moment where Euronics took the lead, it was a moment where eSuba did not have the lead for a moment. But yeah, then they won the match after all, were able to seal the deal with a good Baron of theirs. They made a couple of mistakes, one on the Drake that they were trying to secure, thinking that they're completely safe with the enemy jungler at the top lane. One trading the Drake for a Rift Herald, which did not work out too well for the moment, but then they were able to get back into it after like 2 minutes, so no biggie. And then they found themselves in the grand finals, with Euronics going down to the losers brackets, having to face off against LZX status again, but it did not seem to be such a big problem for them. But as I said, when you win the winner's match, you are like rewarded with a lot of time for yourself to rest, to eat, to prepare, to train a little bit more on the playground or whatever. If you once you could even play a solo queue match or even a scrim right here. Whatever to your heart's content. While Euronics had to work really hard in order to get where they are right now, and they don't even get a lot of time to just rest. And that's the thing. So Euronics playing, first of all, 2 matches in a row, then having only 1 hour of a break, and now being forced to play at least 3 maps in a row. And if they go to a full 3-map BO3, it's going to be even more than that. So for them, it would be best to probably finish off with a 2-0 scoreline, but I'm not too sure if that is actually possible for them. So yeah, there's that. eSuba will not be going down without a fight. So I'm definitely willing to look forward to the picks and bans and overall to the matchup itself. Wondering if eSuba will once again try to dominate ESG, thus making a couple of mistakes on that way there due to maybe trying too hard or just simply leaving behind openings when you are over aggressive, or whether it will be eSuba just taking it a little bit easier, just making sure that they make everything as precise as possible, maybe a little bit slower, but also a little bit safer. And just taking a look at the lineups right here, really once again wondering what's going to be the weak link for eSuba that ESG can expand. Maybe the bottom lane could be one, because it's really hard to touch the jungle or the top lane. In the last game, ESG proved us that it's possible to figure out how to counter Humanoid in the middle. Well, first of all, you have to not give him a Syndra. Then even if he gets it, then there is a possibility to do something about it, but then there's also a possibility for eSuba to simply get rid of an Orianna, and then it will be a little bit tougher. And after all, ESG were a little bit afraid of that Ecstatic's Kassadin, and they will probably not ban it against eSuba, and I feel like eSuba could also use it. Humanoid also a very talented mid laner right there, though as I said, he was kind of dozing off before the picks and bans started, so he might not be like 100% awake, maybe also tired with the entire tournament already. I mean, after all, yes, you do get the moments of rest, you do get a moment of just a cooldown, like the 2 or 3 hours that they had until this match started. But in that amount of time, you can get a little bit bored, you can get a little bit tired, because that's when you actually get the free time, that's when it kicks in. That's when you realize how tired you are with the travel and all the playing and overall with the different environments that you're put into, because that's definitely what happens on LAN finals. Additionally, there come bright lights and a lot of noise, and you get tired real quickly. But hopefully eSuba are actually resistant to that. As I said, they're very experienced of a lineup. They played together for a long time. They know how to deal with situations like these. They played for very high stakes on online matches, also on LAN matches. So that's nothing new to them. I'm quite sure of that. But well, maybe it is a little bit new because, as I mentioned, the stage is actually a big truck, so there's nothing else like it in the Europe. It's only Big Betty right here in Hamburg, Germany, so something to pay a little bit closer attention to. But let's head over to the stage as the pre-game interviews are ready.
Thank you very much, Nero. I'm here with the two top laners from eSuba and Euronics. We've had a very interesting and exciting pick ban phase, which I'm not going to actually spoil this time. I'll wait till the desk and let everyone discover it. But these two guys are in a skill matchup, so how do you feel?
I feel really hyped for this game. It will be fun because this is one of the most interesting matchups in solo queue. So I hope it will be really good.
And how about yourself?
I agree. I like to play that matchup, and I'm looking forward to it.
So they obviously had a very interesting pick. Did you guys expect it?
No, straight up no.
But are you ready for it?
We hope so. I mean, I would like to revert my statement of 2-0 after that draft, but I guess it's too late for that now.
So what do you think it'll be 1-0?
I think we will have a hard time winning this game, yeah.
So how are you guys feeling? Are you looking forward to the best of 3?
We are feeling really confident, even with that pick that we will see in later. So I feel really confident, and it will be fun.
And what do you think the score will be?
I would like to see 3 games, but 2-0 is always better.
Okay. All right, well, that's good to hear. Do you have anything to say to him before you match up?
Good luck, I guess. I'm sure you won't need it with this draft, but never hurts.
Well, there we go. So we're definitely going to be in for an exciting game, and it's the first of 3. So good luck to you guys. And this is the first match of 3 for the finals to see who wins the Legends Trophy and 1,500 euros. So back to the desk.
All right, so the confidence falters a little bit on ESG's side. Of course, they have the benefit of being the home team right here. Although qualifying from the upper brackets, it is actually eSuba, thus proving their superiority this far, actually. But apparently we've got some interesting draft. We've got some interesting matchup in the top lane that should be quite typical, because they say that it's happening often in the solo queue. But then there's also something surprising that we'll get to see, and that ESG did not see through. They're not really exactly prepared for it. I would love to see what that actually is, but we'll be getting into the picks and bans in just a little bit of time, so we'll have to wait like 1 minute longer. But then we are nearly ready with the first match of this best of 3, as Nikita said. So also, I have to back up eSuba's top laner right here on what he said. Hopefully, it's going to be a full best of 3. It's always the best for the show. But then for the sake of the teams, the 2-0 is, of course, much easier to take in, right?
I just don't want to spoil it, but the pick and ban is definitely going to be fun.
Okay.
What I'll start with is I found out why Twitch has been banned. So I was talking to a couple of the players, and it turns out that Euronics and eSuba, both of them, 2 of the ADCs, put a lot of time into Twitch on line. Mm-hmm. And so it's a respect ban, and that's why it is. So it's not necessarily, it's more about the player on Twitch than it is about Twitch themselves. But I think this is going to be a really exciting matchup. I hope so, because there's a lot of skill-based matchups in this. I think both teams have, I think actually all the teams here have gotten better as the tournament has progressed. You know, from the first matches, if we look at Bulldogs, how they performed in the following match, how, you know, Ecstatus performed in their following match, how Euronics have performed, and I mean, well, eSuba's just won everything. So I guess it's hard to get better when you're at the top. But It's
It
definitely
can get better. It
yeah.
can get better. Right now,
Oh,
they
of
can
course.
completely stomp Euronics instead of having somewhat of an even game for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And it was interesting because I was chatting to the Euronics player before the interview, and he was saying to me that he felt that they did okay. Like, it got away from them, but they felt that they definitely could have won that match. And that mid game where they managed to get those 4 kills, it was a positive showing. And then after that, but it gave them enough confidence to know that they can match up to them, and they've just got to make sure that they don't make those mistakes and give the opportunities. So with that in mind, I think it's a very positive mindset, and we'll just see how it goes. But it's I think it's been a great tournament. It's been a great day, and we're now should be an exciting final.
Yeah, just an exciting final that's ahead of us, and yeah, eSuba definitely going into this one as the favorites, and even Euronics Gaming themselves now said that after seeing the draft, after picks and bans, and you're confirming that, and so I'm just gonna trust you both guys. I mean, Euronics don't want to say that they want to win. All right, so I guess that's 1-0 already. Let's just
No.
skip to the second match.
I
Right?
think he was being a bit. I think it's just a very. The back and forth in the picks and bans was very interesting, and just like what one team picked up and then the other team gave up, and we'll just see how it goes. And it's easier. One of the reasons I'm not revealing it now is because it's actually easier to talk through as the picks and bans are happening, and we'll be able to kind of discuss the psychology. But I think both teams have a lot of respect for each other. I think they both just really enjoy playing the game, and so hopefully this is just going to be a fun one. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here, and I've been waiting for this moment for such a long time, and we already saw that the first match of eSuba against the Euronics Gaming was quite even, so that's what I hoped the entirety of the LAN finals will be. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that for the most part, really, with quite one-sided somewhere half the way through, but this match, this is what I was looking for, and right now just hoping that ESG are not gonna get crushed because of just some picks and bans.
I hope not either, or at least even if they lose to, I hope that the games are exciting and close, and it's not what the score doesn't just reveal. Actually, there's a lot more to it. I think so. Here we go. We have the start. So we have the respect ban of Twitch. We go to the Lee Sin, which we haven't seen all tournament. So it's just a very powerful pick at the moment, and people aren't allowing it through. So as we continue on, we'll just see how.
Okay. Yeah, just coming back to what you said right
Yeah.
there, I would agree that Euronics could have won the previous match.
Yes.
But I would say that at some point it was anyone's game.
Yes.
It was never their game. They never really threw or had an advantage right there that they wasted. Yeah, they wasted some opportunities, but then that happens all the time. But throwing is what they would have been really unhappy about.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good point. And I don't think they threw it. Just unfortunately, eSuba just played better, and Euronics recognized that, but they've learned from it. But like here we go, and I think this is very telling. The fact that eSuba feels like they should ban the Gragas is respectful of Donard's performance on it, and the fact that now they're recognizing that they should definitely ban humanoids. Syndra, and again, that was actually another champion I was talking to the other teams and players about. Humanoid on Syndra is apparently like top 20 in Europe or something like that on the champion. He uses it in solo queue a lot. He really understands the limits, and it's very successful on it.
Yeah, so you can definitely see that in the matches too. But then on the other side, Orianna. So that's the first thing that came to my mind. I thought that most probably eSuba are gonna get rid of that Orianna. I also was talking about the Gragas, but I was more sure about the Orianna because it's gonna be much easier for humanoid. Finally, someone somewhat has figured out how to counter him. And now when that champion gets taken away, I was quite sure, yeah, the Euronics are not going to go for the Kassadin ban, and now eSuba already know that this Kassadin could also be quite viable. But then they said that he's manageable. But then just take a look at that. We get a Zac and the Galio getting through the ban.
Exactly. So already it starts off very exciting. So there was actually quite a bit of debate on stage whether they go for Zac or Galio, because they both the team, eSuba, recognized that it is each equally a very important and powerful pick. They decided to go with the Zac, which is we haven't seen at all this tournament, so it'll be great to see that. But Euronics, without any hesitation, grabbed the Galio. They then picked the Thresh, which, I guess both teams supports. We see it's a very popular one, and I think it's doing well.
Okay.
And eSuba goes for Talia, which is another pick that we haven't seen and has been very powerful in solo queue.
Yeah, definitely. But Talia, I feel like it is somewhat dependent on what the team is also going to do to try and follow you up. Because if you get a little bit over aggressive with that, you can easily get punished. And I saw it backfire. Like, I mean, it's also by the rustiness and by the somewhat lack of skill. But there is a Polish player that played in Meet Your Makers back in the days of like season 2 or 3. So he's still somewhat active on the Polish scene. And in the Polish Championship, he picked up a Talia and got completely destroyed. He just went in all alone. He just left the team behind, and I was like really scared. I never wanted to see Talia again after that kind of a performance. So, yeah, hopefully eSuba are gonna clean that Talia's name for me.
I mean, it's a really tough champ to play within the teams, and I think that's actually one of the hardest things about the champion is that it's not, actually I feel like I slightly incorrectly said it's very powerful in solo queue. It's not solo queue, it's when you're playing amongst your team, and it is because you really need a lot of coordination on how you use the ultimate, how the damage. But so this is what was interesting. So whilst eSuba grabbed Zac, they gave up 2 very strong picks in Galio and Fiora, which then Euronics responded by banning out Kennen and Jace, which in themselves are very strong. Then what was interesting is that we see here that eSuba's bans in the latter phase, it's focused on the jungle.
Of course.
Graves and Kha'Zix, they know that their strength is the Zac, and that Euronics has banned out other top champions so that Galio can't be beaten. So here we go. Wow. Now we have a Nocturne, which I don't know what to expect from that really at the moment. So maybe you can fill us in.
No, maybe Darkness, I don't know. But yeah, basically, Elise and Lee Sin banned in the first rotation. Yeah, that's okay. But then leaving out Zac, I don't know about that. But the okay. The fact is, though, with Graves and Kha'Zix being banned by eSuba was perfectly thought through by them. And now I'm wondering also, maybe it wasn't so necessary to ban the Kha'Zix since they were able to shut him down so well in the pre-game. But then, as I said, it was the same in the group stage by ESG. The first Kha'Zix they picked was horrible, but the second one made the entire game. So it's still out of respect going to be quite a good ban, in my opinion. Wow, Kog'Maw and Vayne picked up right here.
Exactly, so this was a super interesting one. So this is why I brought the 2 top laners up on stage and we ended up chatting and they were quite excited about their matchup. So if we focus on that first of all, it's Akemi against Fiora. Now, I like playing top lane a lot and I love both of these champions and I love playing them and I love playing against them because they're very skill-based and great players on a Fiora or Akemi can really do some incredible things. And against each other, neither champion has a clear advantage. It's very skill-based. You really have to outplay and be on your toes and back and forth. So it's an exciting matchup to play. It's exciting to watch, and the player's excited. And then Vayne and Kog'Maw came out, and I didn't know what to even say. There was an interesting amount of disbelief and cockiness coming from eSuba when they were talking about from some players. I mean, Sheriff was definitely feeling good about the Vayne. Okay. But then the Kog'Maw is also a very strong pick in the right hand. So this is the sort of thing. But it was interesting because when I was discussing Twitch, what I was actually told is that with Twitch, if you're amazing at it, you can completely take over the game by yourself in some ways. Whereas a Kog'Maw is still somewhat team dependent. So I think as strong as it is, it definitely can be shut down. But this will be, I think, a very exciting matchup between Galio, Talia, the top lane, Cammy, Fiora, and then the bot lane, Kog'Maw and Vayne.
Yeah, definitely going to be extremely interesting. But then Kog'Maw has the support in the form of a Thresh, so it's not going to be so unsafe to play him right here. And I feel like a ton of AD carries, maybe even a majority of them, they love to play that Vayne on solo queue, or they're extremely skilled at her and don't even show her in solo queue, but they never really want to go for her in competitive. But here, forced by the situation, she's brought up, and in return, there's a Kog'Maw picked up by the other team, and ESG actually say they're not too confident about it. I'm quite interested in that, but
I think
their
they
team
were just
definitely doesn't look bad, but just by the amount of weird picks that ESB has forced them to, I feel like their composition just looks out of place.
Absolutely, but I think God, if I could have picked the champions that I wanted to see in a finals matchup, this is the best way to start it. I think a game one, hopefully this will just be a bloodbath and a really exciting matchup in all of the lanes. And that's what we want, isn't it? Like, I would love for this to go to game three. I would love for this to be messy in terms of kills and just like really intense and close. And I think these champions are definitely the ones that are going to give us an exciting matchup.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also looking forward to some first ganks of these junglers, because the junglers are definitely going to be a big concern. For sure, of course, you will probably see the dominance of Zac. I mean, Yeki was showing off quite well this far in the matches, and I don't think that he's going to do much worse with the Zac. Because, yeah, you might see it banned most of the time in the competitive game, but then he still probably got his hands on him a couple of times out there. Everyone has to know how to play these OP champions, just like Tsakutka said that he doesn't necessarily like the Galio so much, but then he's still able to own the game with him, because you simply cannot not be able to play these OP champions, right?
Exactly, and I mean, he just said to me that ultimately he just found the champion a little bit dull to play, but this matchup, Tsakutka and, you know, only problem is definitely not going to be a boring matchup. Like, exactly, there we go. So, you know, that you have all these, like, stuns and counter stuns and then the damages and how long they go in, but look at this. Look at the damage coming out of it.
Yeah, okay.
He didn't proc the Vital, which is lucky for Tsakutka, because I think if he had, that would have been it.
Yeah, that definitely could have been it, and not the greatest idea from him to go in. Warden definitely proving to be a very strong top laner this far, and I'm sure that that's one of the reasons why you picked him for the interview after the previous game and before this one. Humanoid also risking his life in the middle lane. One level advantage for Donards. That could also already be another passive pop from Yeki, and that flash right here. Oh, he's gonna get the cell division. The teleport simply comes out, and I think that it's a little bit early for that teleport anyway. It's going to be the first blood. He didn't even manage to stick together back again. And there we go, Pretty very low on health, but the Harry Carry Sheriff 1v5, completely surrounded by the enemy team, is going to have to go down. ESG with a 2-0 start. I think that they're not as inconfident as they were.
No, absolutely. I think, you know, I understand why Tsakutka went for that TP, and it was very close. Like, it's crazy how little health Pretty left there, and Sheriff definitely could have gone 1 or 2 kills, which I think, you know, on a Vayne, once you get ahead, that's it. But SG just turned that around very well, played it, and no hesitation from Donards, so that's good to see that his last game, you know, Kha'Zix didn't kind of mess him up. So we'll be seeing, but like, this is...
Close, and that's gonna be it! Murmel secures the kill on the enemy Braum, so...
2-0 already on Murmel.
Yeah, and that's also 0-2 on the bottom lane combined from eSuba. Both the AD carry and now the support has died, so he wasn't able to hold up until his AD carry came back. Actually, the moment he came back, he died. So unlucky for eSuba at the very beginning of this matchup. And also what I wanted to touch on is, yeah, I said that I felt like the teleport was a little bit too quick from Tsakutka to try and save this Zac, because it was over before he could stick together and try to revive and try to run away from there. But also, yeah, there was a jungler right on top of him who can always smite one of the blobs, and these blobs were even getting one shot anyway by the auto attacks. So I guess there was no way to figure it out differently, but then trying to still engage in this fight, in my opinion, just wasn't a good idea. Donards did not lose any HP to Yeki in that fight. It was a level 5 versus level 4. They put themselves in a straight 4v5 with no advantage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was, you know, I understand what Yeki was trying to do in the river, but he just ran into Donards, and then from there just kind of got caught out. And it's gone from bad to worse, really, at this point, because Vayne in lane, I mean, the reason people hesitate to pick it is, especially in pro play, is just because to shut it down isn't that hard, and once it's shut down, what a great counter.
Yeah, definitely a
really good riposte,
as you said, but he's still going to pull him closer to himself, or to the minion right next to him, rather, and that's going to be a little bit of damage delivered. But the flash is saved by Wardane, so he's going to be perfectly fine. I mean, also just take a look at the amount of summoner spells that were burned by eSuba in that fight. Yeah, trying to save Yeki with the teleport is a good idea, but then Sukukai instantly had to flash away because he found himself in a very uncomfortable position. Sheriff, 1v5, tried to get away into the Dragon Pit, but that completely backfired. He was dead already, so I feel like it would have been better to just save up the summoner spell. And then in the bottom lane, also Denik trying to run away with a flash completely failed because the auto attack still went his way. And now that's gonna be
Here's the darkness.
Okay, yeah. That's Nocturne jumping in, but not really being able to get the kill. However, burning another 2 summoner spells, so the openings for the junglers are just so huge. And well, Elastic Slingshot does not connect, but Panda is still going to die. So luckily enough for Yeki, somehow that worked out. But mistakes like these are not going to be forgiven by ESG. They're ahead right now. You've got a Zac that's supposed to be OP in the jungle, and this far he's died in a 1v1 situation, forced a very uncomfortable team fight for your team, and slightly, okay, I'm not going to say failed, but made a mistake on a gank.
Yeah, I mean, I think, one, I want to just mention that I think Humanoid's flash to get out of that gank was really great across the wall in mid. Oh wow, well, I mean, maybe Yeki is, yeah, that was great, so he's definitely recovered, and now this is huge because they funneled both kills to Vayne, so putting her back kind of on par, at least in kills, with the Cogmore. She's already ahead about a wave of farm, so that's very good to see. And then, you know, like, so I don't think things are so bad. Like, yes, ESG got the first 3 kills, and that's great, but their advantage was about 1,000, a bit less than 1,000, and now with the turnaround, we're only looking at a couple of hundred. So this is still very much early and an even match.
Okay, now with the situation they pushed in the bottom lane, they definitely look a lot better right now, right? But there was definitely a possibility of some counter gank happening, so it still was very risky. But just like that, eSuba are getting back to the game, as you say. So I like what we're seeing in here. Yeki is going to be behind no matter what he does right now. When he is behind, he's died. He does not have any kill right there, and the Nocturne is going to be the one to deal the damage. Definitely much quicker than the Zac, and we'll see.
Zac does always start out a bit slow, so I mean, I think Nocturne does well. I'm not so confident on my knowledge around Nocturne, so I don't think, you know, at least Zac managed to get 2 assists. He's managed to give a bit of gold to his Vayne, and his mid laner is keeping up or doing quite well again, you know, a little bit ahead of the Galio. Top laner is doing fine, so whilst he's behind, I think if he's able to just kind of focus up, farm a bit, farm the jungle, get a couple of items, which is what he really needs to get going, and then we'll really start to see things open up on the map.
Yeah, but it's not bad that he won't be doing the damage. I mean, the amount of CC that the Zac is providing in the team fights, outside of team fights, on ganks, even on 1v1s, is just immense. But if he allows Donards to get rolling a little bit too much, if he crosses the line, then it's going to be really bad with the Nocturne, of course. And the times of like full AD Nocturnes are already long gone for sure, but still he's gonna be something along the lines of a Kha'Zix. I don't think that as strong, but definitely he will be able to jump on you and chase you down until you're dead.
Okay, that's interesting. You see, I would have thought it would be more of a, I guess I think the concept definitely is there. I haven't seen a Nocturne for quite a while, but I do know he has quite a nice tankiness level and a couple of items with some damage, and then suddenly he becomes extremely sticky. But look at this up top. This is what I mean by that skill matchup. So what it is like Cammy has her wall jump, which will dash onto someone and can stun them. But Fiora's skill riposte, if timed correctly, can negate that stun and actually stun Cammy back. So it becomes this really kind of, they're both playing chicken and trying to bait it out of the other, and who can get it. Now, of course, Fiora can hit the vitals and get a bit of health back, but we're doing this, so it's all about positioning. How are they doing it?
Oh,
and what are they using to dodge? And
big trouble, but Yeki actually jumps in, and that's gonna be a Let's Bounce, a brilliant one, although the ultimate also got popped from Fiora. The grand challenge was there. Well, Humanoid, what an amazing ult from him, but then the Galio comes, and he turns it all around again. Yeki is gonna be able to get out of there, and at the same time, Humanoid realizes that this cause is already lost. So we finished this fight without any kills, surprisingly enough, But that's what I mean by a good Galio ult. Completely surprising, catching the enemies off guard. An amazing ult from Talia. That wall completely cuts off Fiora, so there is no way of escape. So that forces out reaction from the rest of her team. Yaki, luckily enough for himself, surviving, but also making Sakutka survive with a ledge bounce at the very last moment. This is an advanced team fight that we've not really yet been able to observe in the entire Legend series in League of Legends, which is a little bit sad, but most of the games were one-sided. Maybe that's because of it. We do get to see an even-out matchup. That's amazing. These two teams are on a very evenly skilled level.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a great team fight from both sides. I think just the reactions and each team taking advantage, and I think you broke it down perfectly. And here we go again. We're seeing a slingshot there from Zach, and unfortunately missed its mark. But this is what's so exciting about these matchups, and like it's so skill-based, and it's all kind of countering one another. That Galio ult was excellent and so perfectly timed in the way that it worked out. But it will be interesting. I mean, like it definitely looked like Euronics had the advantage there. I mean, only problem with Fiora, he managed to pop the Grand Challenge, got that heal, and Fiora is actually notorious for turning around 2v1 ganks, and if she pops that Grand Challenge, suddenly she heals up, she keeps hitting those vitals, and she kills 2 people, and it's very dangerous if she starts to scale up, and she's a great late game champion. But that's not to say that Camille isn't.
Ooh, we've got to engage in the bottom lane, and yeah, that's how annoying the Nocturne is going to be. And he will be able to take down then AD Carry all alone. Well, unless he does not choose to. He did not also have his Q available, the Duskbringer. But they do get the kill on Denik, and they're satisfied enough with that. They burned 4 summoner spells in the bottom lane. That gank is easily redoable. So we do have a chance of him showing up again in the bottom lane, maybe this time without a paranoia, but without summoner spells, not sure how eSuba are going to dodge that. And additionally, the turrets finally start to come into play. And yeah, you were mentioning the bottom lanes and how Vayne could have already gotten shut down. She got the kills back, she got the farm advantage even. That's still going to be pretty hard for Kog'Maw to make back even with that turret down. But again, Kog'Maw now gets the kill. Again, it's the Vayne that's being bullied a little bit, and even if she didn't die, she's still forced to fall back to the base, and that's always a little bit of experience, a little bit of gold lost. It's a good kind of once again engaged on by Warden, and Warden is not showing any kind of hiccups against that Camille. When Sakutka wants to engage, he gets beaten up. When he doesn't engage, it's going to be Warden who jumps in and punishes him. So only when there's like a gank situation, when there's a lot of chaos, a different outcome could be possible. But overall, Sakutka's not able to come out of top of Warden, and that could be really annoying to him, because this far, he's not faced a situation like this. Even on that Galio that he said he doesn't like so much, he was able to dominate the enemy team. Right now, he's the one up against the wall.
No, absolutely. This is great to see Fiora play. I mean, she's hitting every vital, and a big part of playing Fiora is hitting those vitals. It's recognizing when it's correctly positioned, and you can maneuver yourself around, because you can pop two of them, 3 of them very quickly, and if that happens, then the other top laner is at a huge disadvantage. And I think Fiora is just really, he's seeing those great opportunities and just grabbing them, which is exciting to see. But I mean, I would never discount Camille. They are notorious. They're so mobile, and they can catch people all around the place.
Amazing
wow,
thought
look at
to
that
just
damage.
take a look at the burst damage. Combined Galio with a Nocturne, it is indeed really strong. And he tries to jump in, but he even misses this kind of a...
No, oh, look at
slingshot,
that.
But the Let's Bounce completely fixes it all, and Vayne actually gets that kill. Very important of a kill, but at the same time, Kog'Maw is able to secure 1 more, so he's still 1 ahead over that AD carry of eSubas. Now it is definitely going to go down to which hyper carry is better. I feel like this game is not gonna end early. It's the second turret going down in the favor of ESG, although there definitely is a possibility to maybe get the Rift Herald by eSuba, and if they do that, they're gonna even it out. It's going to at some point end up in a stalemate. At least that's what I can see coming in this matchup, unless they go completely crazy, one of the teams, and either throw or just make an amazing play. But I think that this one is going to last much longer, that it's going to be an extended map, and it definitely is going to go down once again to that skill matchup that you were talking about, to hitting the vitals on the Fiora, to securing good targets with your ultimate on the Camille, to let's bounces that we definitely shouldn't be afraid of from Yeki, because he's going for great ones right here, and Talia is safe.
See, that Talia was actually, I think, out of position there, but they turned it around so well, and this is actually the power of the Braum and the Zac. They're just able to jump in, CC, chain CC someone, and that's it, and somehow Humanoid gets out of there unscathed. I think it was just, like, that was just very interesting, and I think it's so far, it is, as you said, a very close matchup, and it will probably go.
Yeah, and also I think the first item that Dawnarts decided to go for is a Bilgewater Cutlass. Lately you would see, like as you said, most of these Nocturnes going more into the tanky way, also providing a little bit of damage, but definitely not aiming at being the damage dealer right here. That's why Dawnarts got burned down so quickly. And that's exactly the same, it was exactly the same back in the days. People were crazy enough to go a full AD. Lee Sin was so easy to shut you down unless you got like 5-0, then nobody could touch you. And we don't see a 5-0 on that.
That's a great war from Humanoid.
Yeah.
But a great escape from Pretty, who just recognizes how to get out, and there we go. No, I think you're absolutely right in the way you're talking. Oh, and here we go, Cam.
Okay.
This is why you can't discount a Cammy. There you go, just straight up.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what it's going to go down to in the later stages of the game. Good targets like these. You catch that Kog'Maw, you cannot take him out with the Dark Passage. That's the problem. So it's amazing actually that eSuba have a perfect counter to the threat. And that way to the Kog'Maw, because he's immobilized completely by Sakutke if they just want it. Now Pretty is going to miss his damage, and we saw how much damage he can deliver, so maybe then it wasn't the danger of dying out there. But the dragons are also going to become a problem for eSuba at some point. It's already an Infernal and an Ocean Drake for ESG. eSuba have the Rift Herald, so as I said, they will even out the things in terms of the turrets a little bit, right? So it is going to slow down a little for a moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess while it's slowing down, I really want to just say how much I'm enjoying this Nocturne. I wasn't sure how it would pan out, but actually, with the Galio and the Fiora, and I mean, bot lane everywhere, it just seems like it's turning out really well, and great use of the ultimate so far. So it's turning out to be very exciting, and that Bilgewater Cutlass is definitely an interesting buy. But then, at the same time, if you look at the other side, it will be very good against a Zac. It's very good at running down people, you know, so I do understand it.
Yeah, I definitely understand the choice, but I also puts him in a very dangerous situation if he wants to go for, like, direct fight right now. And Dawnarts is going to be in a little bit of danger again. Oh, let's bounce, finally misses, and another good Galio ult simply to, this time, secure the kill on Sakutka, but also to save his teammate. And these are the skirmishes that Dawnarts should not be getting out of alive. So this is a little bit of a problem for eSuba. If they will make a mistake like this again, then there's a possibility ESG will indeed grab the lead. A little bit bigger of a lead than just 1,000, 2,000 gold this time around. And that's loss of a turret. They didn't take that one in the top lane, which is also surprising. Yeki in a little bit of a dangerous position, but I'm quite sure he can get out of there as this Zac of his. But yeah, the turret in the top didn't fall down. The Rift Herald is already 2/3 through, so they have to finally find a way of using it and taking a turret home. And there is a possibility to even out the number of turrets a little bit. It's going to be 2 to 3, right? Unless they take the effort to get down the bottom lane turret, but I don't think that it's going to be happening anytime soon. Anyway, though, they can get closer. They can close out the gold difference once again to like 1,000 lead in favor of ESG, and they're still in the safe zone. But you can clearly see, like in all these little fights, that most of the time it's ESG who have even the slightest, but they do have the upper hand.
Absolutely, and what a turnaround. You know, like we definitely expected eSuba to just come in and win, and they are the favorites, but they've done very well. But look at this, great use of the Rift Herald. I mean, that's how, no, it's not going to go down, but it nearly did. So that's, you know, a quick auto attack, and that will be done. What I found interesting is while all that action was actually happening around the mid lane, Fiora was just left alone on the bottom tower, and that's 3/4 gone. So there she is, back to split pushing, and you know, it's a very good read because Sakutka isn't really strong enough to be able to deal with her now. because she pushed out of lane. Kog'Maw killed her, killed Cammy, and so now we're in a situation, well, who can deal with the Fiora? And you never want to be asking that question because Fiora is built to not be able to be dealt with.
Good vision from eSuba actually. They know that Donards is gonna show up in the top lane, but what you're saying, they need... Okay, there goes the paranoia again. The fear is also gonna come through, but then Zach is trying to help. Galio hops in. Zach with the lead bounce actually gets straight into the enemy team, and that's gonna be working out quite fine for eSuba. Bree is completely caught off guard, but just a flash away though, not for long. He's still gonna be dealt with. So 7-7 in terms of kills, and I was afraid. I thought that this team fight would work out a little bit better for Euronics Gaming, but they made tiny mistakes that actually have given the edge over to eSuba. But as you mentioned, tiny little odd attacks to finish off these turrets. I thought that there might not even be a possibility to do that, and now Talia completely obliterates Mermel. Not really happening! He turns it around! The Lantern was there to save him. Probably there was a call to just fall back from there because even his teammates thought that he would be dead, and it was Mermel's individual decision to stay there, and he just used the shield from the Dark Bastion. It turned out to be enough. So very well done. And already the players are starting to show the strengths of these hyper carries. For now, we are still waiting for Vayne to show off in an amazing skirmish like that, but definitely Mermel is doing a good job. Oh god, a godlike play from Panda right there, and Yeki was stopped mid-air, so there is a possibility to finish off the Camille, although they lost their AD carry, so not without any casualties. But another turret goes down. As you said, 3/4 of this turret was taken down by Wardane, the top laner, when he decided to split push a little bit. Then he showed up again, but up against him, Sakutka has shown up, but that wasn't enough apparently. And yeah, finally we do get to see a little bit of Sheriff, but he is not enough to take down Pretty. So yeah, in terms of these direct fights, 1-0 in favor of Mermel on his Kog'Maw. But yeah, the top turret was taken down by Sheriff, the middle turret is taken down. I was afraid that if ESG won that team fight in the top lane, there would not even be a possibility to approach the turrets to finish them off. So there was still a possibility for eSuba to be left with nothing. But due to them winning that team fight, they opened up the opportunity to take them down, but then they lost the bottom lane in return. And in the mid lane, their inner turret is also in pretty low health, so not sure if I'm happy with what we're seeing right here.
Well, I think it was very interesting, you know, top lane, like, it is, you mentioned that we haven't seen, like, Vayne do what the Kog'Maw has been doing, which is taking these 2v1s or really jumping on someone. But at the same time, Vayne has got 4 kills and they're slowly funneling kills towards her, so it is very interesting. What's great about this match is really it is a back and forth. We're seeing the teams take an advantage up top, so the other team goes bottom where they're stronger and they take an advantage there, and then we see something happen mid and so on. So I think both of these teams really know their champions, and we saw that with Mermel and the mid lane where he refused to take the Lantern. He knew exactly where the edges were and how far he could push his limits, and he managed to secure that kill where I think a lot of players would have backed out and just decided they couldn't do it, or it's better to be safe, and he decided to go for it. So this is just such a close game, and we're already 25 minutes in, and it's the closest game we've had so far, and I'm not sure anyone could have really predicted it given the previous matches and what we saw from eSuba.
Yeah, I definitely thought that there is a possibility eSuba can completely crush in this grand finals, but ESG are positively surprising, and hopefully they'll keep it up, because I definitely like what I'm seeing from their side. I really think that they still have the upper hand, and there comes the Paranoia again with a perfect Panthers positioning, and once again a great play. It should be possible to take Sakutka down, but also a great usage of the ultimate to toss the rest of the enemies aside, with once again an amazing play into a death sentence to demolish Sakutka. Panda, what a performance on this Thresh. And then let's bounce additionally to try and help and find another kill, but at this point I think it would have been better to just fall back, and Mermel gets caught off guard in the middle. That hurts. It should not be happening to the Kog'Maw. And yeah, we're talking about how Sheriff is starting to get the kills, even though he doesn't have these amazing, like, individual performances right here. But then he also has only 1 death, so he's not paying for these performances with his life.
Absolutely. And she is a late game hyper carry, so, you know, the performance at the start isn't really the worry. I mean, look at this, it's just getting destroyed. But this is what's so exciting. It's like, in that fight, Mermal was doing the right thing. He was trying to come in around the side, but this is where eSuba's experience really comes in, because they knew he would be coming along that way through the jungle and cut him off. And here we go, we have the Kami, but look at the confidence of Sakutka to just go onto this Fiora despite being behind and, yeah, nearly killing her. If the rest of the team hadn't turned up, I think Sakutka would have won that.
Yeah, if the rest of his team showed
Yes.
up, but if they continue the 1v1, I think it would have been turned around still.
Yeah, but it's still like, I mean, that's the beauty of Kami. She's so capable of engaging and jumping in like that. But what I want to actually highlight here is Panda's performance on Thresh. And I'm really starting to actually respect this Thresh pick, because he has time and again flayed and hooked Zac and Kami out of their dashes, out of their bounces and so on, and keeping them within range and stopping them from getting away and allowing the rest of Euronics to kill them.
Yeah, that's just amazing of a performance on the Thresh, and he definitely is this far the highlight of the game. Though a lot of the players are just giving their all in order to perform the best of their abilities. It's a good cat. Even though he's getting behind, he's still trying against that Fiora. Warlane on the Fiora is just so good at shutting down the Camille, and as you said, on hitting the vital points. Vayne, even though she's not as flashy as this for the Kog'Maw is, she's keeping up with the kills definitely, and also doesn't die so often. He's not really trying to show off so much. But the Kog'Maw also, even though he dies, he's able to beat some enemies in an unexpected situation. There's the ultimate from Galio, an amazing death sentence again. That's probably going to kill Denik. Although now jumping in to try and help is Yiki, and a good kill from Sakutka. Finally, he's being able to do something because Fiora was late to the team fight. Warding was just not there when the team needed him. But now Humanoid is caught out. And Dark Passage once again to try and save his teammates, but Panda once again is completely denied. They don't want to jump away, they want to keep up fighting. There's a flash from Pretty. That's definitely going to be a kill on Sheriff, or actually, he flashed away. Another Dumble would have been it. He would have killed that Fiora, but it's not happening. And that's going to mean a double kill. Even the last blob finished off by the Fiora herself. It is a Baron ping, and we could be getting close to the ending of this first map if it continues like this. ESG more and more starting to dominate the team fights.
I mean, that was a great performance by Sheriff, and he was so close to pulling out that, you know, amazing solo queue montage pentakill. But I just think the coordination on Euronics is amazing. Every time Donuts is going in, we just have Pretty diving in with the Galio ultimate. I think it's just, so far it's great, but we're going to a replay now to see that fight. So again, look at Panda getting a great hook in, and Mermal being very well positioned.
Yeah, Dark Passage very often he's denied from Banner right here. Finally Mermal took it, but once again this death sentence right into the middle of the Galio's ult and the Flake to bring them even closer. That positioned Denik for not so bad of an ultimate, and that allowed Sakutka to finally get something done. But that was only because the Fiora was late. When she's shown up to the fight was actually over at that point. But Sheriff, yeah, his positioning right here lost a little bit too much HP to Pretty for nothing. So I feel like, well, if he positioned a tiny bit better, just a tiny bit, not much better or whatever, he would have been able to just lifesteal enough to survive the Fiora right here, to get off that one more auto attack, and then Pretty would be just a one-shot hero out there. Panda would not be such a danger, and as you said, he didn't even get a single kill, but it feels like he was even close to maybe a triple or quad kill.
I mean, that would have completely turned the game around. I think there was a mistake there from Sheriff. Here we go again. I mean, there's no time to breathe. Donuts is definitely paying.
Sheriff much better positioning this time, and this time also some low health enemies are around him, but taunts are what keeps him away from getting these kills. Panther is still alive. How does he do it? Sheriff gets away, has the explosive plant like right next to himself, but still it feels like ESG are gonna get the better of this team fight unless Sakutka has something to say. That's a double kill actually for Humanoid, who finally isn't caught off guard by Vitalia, but I feel like it's because, just like Fiora previously, he's just late to the team fight, and finally we do get to see the shutdown. The first death, the hero falls, and it is the first death of
I mean, that's a complete ace for eSuba. So, you know, we were saying the game is just so close, and despite being behind, eSuba played that incredibly well and won. And I think you can see this is just what the Camille does. I actually want to bring, he's gone Titanic Hydra and had Job's Fist beforehand, and it's a great build when you're in Camille and you're slightly behind, because just the tankiness and that additional health means that you can still go in, and people forget about the amount of damage you do. But I think what I've noticed in the past few fights is that Nocturne has been paying for his build. You know, like when he died in that mid lane fight that we got the replay of, Cammy was able to jump in and kill him, and the reason is because he didn't have his armor item up, and that was because he decided to go the damage item first. Now we're seeing like he's lasting a bit longer with the lifesteal and the combination with Spirit, and it makes sense, but we need to see the armor items, I think, finished a bit quicker, because the other side of the team is doing a lot of damage, especially that Vayne and the Cammy, and he's still a bit squishy, I think, to deal with them.
Yeah, but the punishment for him going into the Bilgewater Catalyst showed up instantly. The moment we noticed that he's got a Bilgewater Catalyst instead of a different item, he died, actually. So it's not the only occasion where he is punished, and that delays this armor item further and further. So yeah, it is unfortunate, as you were saying, but definitely it's not like a bad decision from Donarch. It's just something different. Also, I mean, ESG, they said that they were completely surprised with what eSuba have gone for in the picks and ban phase. So maybe they themselves are trying to surprise the enemies, even at the cost of their own lives.
Absolutely. I mean, Donos is still putting a great performance, but I kind of have to question whether an armor item would have been better there. But at the same time, like, he's performing very well. He's enabling a lot. Fiora is really the champion here, but I just think the whole team is coming together. And it's so close, 16 to 16. ESG has a slight advantage, you know, about 3,000, yeah. And they have 3 dragons, which is a bit of a problem for eSuba. But at the same time, Cammy is now got 2 items, and you know, has a Job's Fist and working to the 3rd one. She becomes very difficult late game, and Fiora as well as late scaling. So this is, you know, like, we're going to the late game, and I just can't call it yet, because any team fight when eSuba is already 3,000 gold behind, and yet they're able to ace Euronics.
Wow, Yaki being able to connect the Thresh to the ward that was freshly put by that Thresh is just an amazing skill overall. And yeah, I mean, that shows you the strength of Zac. Misplacing the enemy so that there was no way to go. And eSuba, off of a horrible team fight, they were able to get an ace on the enemies all of a sudden, and now they're the ones that are on the offensive. They're the ones that are finding the picks, and even though they were behind in gold, that gap is completely being mended close right now. The 3 turrets behind, if they take these turrets, they will be the ones ahead, not only in gold, but also completely in terms of the momentum. And right now, Yehu once again, the Let's Bounce is going to be used just on the Galio, and he uses the ultimate in return to run away. So he won't actually be able to survive, because somehow it's going to get the better of him. I don't know how, even on the outside of this fight. But this aggression from Cher also dodges, maybe even by a mistake, but just barely dodges that death sentence using Topple at the just right time, and this is going to be nearly an ace on ESG. eSuba, how did they do it? One little mistake is all it takes to break the entire game. This one team
I can't believe it. They're going
where
to finish
2
it?
kills have gone the way of ESG, and an ace found its way on the accounts of eSuba. Then Pander being caught out, he's still not even yet alive.
I think this might be the end,
Yeah,
but I mean,
this
all started with Humanoid. He did such a great ulti, walling off and splitting Galio from the rest of the team, and then you had Sakuka, and this is what I was saying about Cammy. She has such a dive potential, even though Murmur was sitting quite far back, and what he thought was safety underneath his tower, he actually wasn't. Suddenly Cammy is on top of him, deletes him. The Vayne went in under 2 towers and killed a few people. What a game, and what a turnaround by eSuba. Like, I mean, it seems like Euronics made one mistake there at the end, and
yeah, it just
eSuba just knew they could just drive in and win.
It just seems so unreasonable to some extent,
Yeah.
even. Like, ESG were the ones who always got the better of a team fight, if just by 1 kill, if just by 1 turret. And they were the ones to actually, I think they got the Baron right.
I think so. I'm not sure about that, but I mean, they had 3 dragons ahead. They were 3
Yeah.
gold ahead the whole time. You know, Murmur was doing very well in the bot lane. You know, he died more than the Vayne, but the Vayne wasn't necessarily popping off, and the Galio was very good at catching the Vayne with the taunts. And we were having these great wombo combos with Galio and Nocturne jumping in. And every fight, I just thought, you know, at the end of it, like, okay, Euronics is winning, Euronics is winning. Oh, they had a slight mistake, it's fine. But suddenly, slight mistake, and then game's done.
Yeah, and we were just already starting to talk about that late game. It was getting close to the 35th minute mark. But at the 30th minute mark, when they made that mistake, we did not expect that the game would end 3 minutes later. Like,
No, not at
what?
all. Yeah.
And it was just a catch on Panda, and it was just such an amazing situation from Yeki to just adapt right on the spot. There was a ward in the brush, a right connect, boom, Thresh is gone. That wins them the team fight because the death timers already got so long. And I don't think we ever got to so long death timers this far on the LAN finals. This is the first game that took more than 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think this is the
remember correctly.
longest match. But like, what an exciting match, though. Like, we really couldn't call it, and you just the back and forth between the 2 teams. And it's interesting because, you know, I thought Yeki actually started off a bit rough on the Zac, and the Nocturne was working out so well for Donuts. But this is, I'm surprised, because had you asked me really any time through the game, I would have thought Euronics had this game. But it just shows the experience and the skill of the eSuba team that they're able to stay calm and just focus. And if an opportunity is given to them, they will run away with it. And I think this is what Euronics needs to realize. If they want to win, they can't give any opportunity to eSuba.
Wow. And right now, Euronics Gaming, they have to discuss everything real hard. I don't know how you get back into this one. They did not really believe in themselves so much getting into this matchup. They were surprised kind of by the draft phase from eSuba. They thought that, yeah, maybe we're gonna get a shot in the next map and we're gonna make it 2-1. But then it looked so amazing. They shot down Sakutka in the top lane, who seems to be one of the most dangerous people on the lineup of eSuba. But then he's still able to turn it all around. He's still able to be the clutch player that actually gives them the catches, but most importantly, Yeki. Humanoid, he was getting caught off guard a little bit too often. He was dying many times. He was getting picked up by the enemies too many times. But then when it mattered the most, he performed in a team fight. But the one that kept it the most consistent, in my opinion, is Yeki. He made like 2 or 3 mistakes at most with elastic slingshots. Missed only 1 Let's Bounce, and that was because of the Galio just ulting away from it, so nothing you could do.
I mean, it's not. It's easy to sit here and say, like, why isn't he hitting every Zac ulti? It's not that easy, and when he countered, he definitely did it. I think the thing for me really that stood out is that Humanoid and Sakutka, you're right, like, didn't necessarily have the presence we've seen in the other games, but this is what actually stood out for me. Humanoid's ultis on Talia were excellent.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he walled off so well, and it's very hard to do that. You don't see that even in pro play so often, where they're able to split the team and really divide the players apart. And then again, Sakutka, like, he just knew he was losing the lane, he was a bit behind, and he understood that, and he played it safe, and he scaled up to the point of where he saw those opportunities. And he knew exactly what his job was, which was to jump on the Cogmore. If he could get it and isolate it, he could knock away the Thresh. The Thresh wouldn't be able to do anything. And by the time Thresh gets back into the ultimate area of Kami, Cogmore's dead.
Yeah, and if we're talking, and when we're on the topic of these ultimates of Talia's, then sometimes getting a good Talia ult is actually a bad Talia ult.
Yes.
I mean, there was this one situation in the top lane. It was not right at the beginning of the game, but it was one of the first exchanges that we actually got to see. It was this amazing team fight. So yeah, he cut off Wardane from his turret, but that forced him to continue the team fight. And with that, he activated the Grand Challenge and was able to heal up as the Fiora. So yeah, it was an amazing ult in terms of positioning and the map play, but looking at the individual players, it actually helped the enemy team a little bit. But then still, it just does not take away the fact that every single ultimate of his was amazing on a mechanical level.
Absolutely, and I think actually what you're saying there, I agree 100%, but in a way, I actually put that more in your line, whose performance on Fiora was incredible. He really, I think out of everyone on the other team, I think he performed the best in my opinion, because the pressure he really enabled, and then his split pushing opened up and took a lot of towers and allowed the team to rotate. It's just unfortunate at the end that it didn't work out. I mean, it's between him or Donuts, I feel, who had the biggest impact. And it's just, I don't know. I just like the thing is it ended so quickly that it's kind of hard to really pinpoint who made the mistake. Was it just eSuba seeing that opportunity and jumping on it? I'd really want to see a replay of that, and hopefully we'll get one event later on or in the evening or next time. But it's one of those things where it was on a knife's edge, and before we knew it was over. So it's hard to kind of pinpoint who's at fault or where the mistake came from.
Yeah, if we're talking about Pretty 2, we are seeing some good Gallios finally right here on this LAN finals. During the group stage, I don't think there's even been a single one. While right here, Tsakutka says that he doesn't necessarily like that Galio, but then he picks him and has some impactful ults, actually forcing the enemies into positions they wouldn't like to be in. We get Pretty picking up that Galio, and also all the ults are on point. It's a huge job done by Panda also, because every single time the Flays and the death sentences put the enemies in these ults, but still, that's part of the job, of course. That's part of team play. And I very much like the Gallios this far. There is also a possibility that eSuba will get him at some point, and I'm quite sure that they will also be able to use him the right way. But overall, the pick and ban phase was amazing. Like, the mind games that were going on right there were huge. And also coming back to Donards, I feel like this Nocturne was not a bad pick. Maybe just the way he built him was not the right one he should have gone for, or just something has gone wrong at any other point into the game. He guaranteed them a great first blood. He was impactful at all times, maybe only dropping off at the very latest like moments of the game where Zach became completely invincible. But overall, it was not a bad one, because before the game started, just seeing the picks and bans, I was wondering, is it the right time to pick a Nocturne? Is he still going to have any kind of impact on the game? Turns out, yes, it is possible.
Absolutely. I mean, I thought his performance on Nocturne was great, and this is what I'm saying in-game, is that Zach takes a little while to scale up. He needs those first few items, and, you know, I feel like Donards really recognized that and was able to really work against that in the early game. As you mentioned in the game, he did get caught out a couple of times and was punished for the fact that his, you know, he built the Bilgewater Cutlass. It's hard to say, because I think had it worked out, that Bilgewater Cutlass could have been excellent. And we would be standing here praising it and saying it's great. But the fact that the other team recognized it, that he was a bit weaker and started to punish him for it, is where it fell apart. And it's a tricky thing. It's very hard to judge just from a loss. What I'm curious about now, because this was such an exciting and unusual pick and ban phase, and we saw a lot of things like they got, I mean, in this way, eSuba picked the Zac, and they gave up a Fiora and a Galio, and I wasn't sure that was worth it, but now they won. So you kind of do wonder, like, okay, is it worth it? And actually, how is it going to progress? Are they going to stick with that pick ban? Will they take the Zac? Will Euronics say, no, actually, they don't want to take, you know, give up the Zac because it was too effective, and so on. So it'll be exciting to see how it progresses.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the picks and bans are going to go this way, but so what I think could happen right now is that once again we're going to go back to the focus on the Zac, the Fiora, the Camille, the Galio, and rather we're going to get to see some more regular of a bottom lane fight, but then it could get a little bit more even interesting maybe in the jungle. Because right there, a Nocturne versus a Gragas, was it? Excuse me, no. It was a Zac, yes. So a Nocturne versus a Zac, I don't think it will be happening anymore. I don't even want to say I'm not sure. I don't think that it will be happening. I might even say that I'm sure that it won't be happening. Because a Nocturne, it's like such an alienated pick. You'd have nothing else to pick, so you go for a Nocturne, right? They were up against a wall, so they had to go for him. Yeah. Well, the Zac, don't think it's going through anymore. I mean, you have a 34-minute game where you are in the lead for the most of the time. And what happens every single team fight is a Zac just jumping into the middle of your team, going for a let's bounce and breaking your entire game plan. So it's very simple. You just ban him.
Well, yeah, and I think that is the easiest way to ban it. It makes everything else much less effective. I'm not sure. Like, it will be interesting to see. I don't think the Nocturne was there, but that was a reaction to eSuba reacting very positively, getting the Zac, banning out the other power picks, and they're going straight to forcing them on something slightly more unfamiliar or not as powerful. But this is where it's interesting. Like, how do they go on? Like, do they, because the Zach was very impactful, but at the same time, you know, do they feel like they can handle it if they get the Graves or something like that, or the Kazakhs? So these are the things. Like, I wonder whether eSuba will allow them to get the Fiora again, because his performance on that was excellent.
I kind of hope to see a Kazakhs for Donards. That's not going to backfire. I
Yes.
also kind of hope to see maybe a Leeson for Donards if he doesn't want that Kazakh so much, but then they're banning it themselves, which partly is hard to understand for me, but on the other hand, you know, Leeson,
I
it's
think,
an
yeah.
extremely strong jungler, so you definitely don't want Yankee to put his hands on a Leeson. I mean, he showed us already a great Graves where he could dominate the entire map with him. He already showed us a Zag that could turn around the game that was, I don't want to say dominated, but that ESG had a considerable lead in. And throughout the group stages, he also was very important to the team. But I feel like playing Graves was like a major part of his story throughout this tournament, because not only in the finals right here has he picked it, but also it was happening in the group stage. So, yeah, Graves is really dangerous on him. I don't know, maybe make him play something different and hope that it's not going to be as bad as it was in Zac and Graves.
Well, I mean, look, eSuba definitely made the right decision when they chose the Zac over the Galio, and it ended up winning them the match. But now it's a matter of seeing, like, how does Euronics react? Because I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, but it will be interesting to see how things go and what this new pick and ban phase will hold, because they also had quite a few respect bans. You know, you had the Twitch, you had the Syndra, and then it becomes a question of like, okay, well, it's easy for us to say, okay, well, you're going to ban Zac, or maybe you're going to ban a Fiora, but what do you drop to ban those instead?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't think they can allow themselves to leave out the Zac and Galio anymore. So what I would like to see replaced in the bans is definitely the Syndra and Orianna bans aren't so necessary. It's like it once already worked out for Humanoid to beat that Orianna of Pretty's that was pretty annoying to him, but then Pretty doesn't need to correct so much. He just needs to act from the very first moments, because I feel like he figured out what was the way of beating that Syndra a tiny bit too late in the first map. So now there's a possibility for him to win that fight. And if it goes down to that Syndra versus Orianna, I feel like it is just going to be a skill matchup. And both of them could take it. So I don't necessarily think that these are the bans that have to be there, like the Zac.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely see that. I think the thing is, I mean, Pretty performed very well and was able to turn it around and understand how things were going, and you know, despite being killed twice, was able to then turn around and kill the Syndra twice. But this, I just think Humanoid's Syndra is just too good. Like, it's one of the bans that I would definitely say, and actually now having seen both of these AD carries on Kog'Maw and Vayne, I absolutely understand why they're banning Twitch, because I think if either of these players had been on Twitch, the late game carry, the ability to go invisible and create these picks and so on would have been huge. I mean, like, if what's his name? Sorry, would have been on Twitch instead of Kog'Maw, he could have evaded and gotten away from Cammy, which could have changed the game completely. And then the pay and spray, you know, when it's timed up with the knockups and so on, of like the clumped up Zac and other teammates, it can really turn things around. So those are things, but I would ban the Syndra. I wouldn't let it through. He's too on fire with it. I feel like he's hitting every single stun.
Yeah, but maybe that one single Syndra ban is going to be enough to throw him off. Maybe they want to risk the gamble. Not sure what's sitting in the heads of Euronics Gaming at the moment, but there is a possibility that they might like to experiment a little bit. You know,
The danger is one more loss and that's it. So this is kind of, you know, I think definitely had they won, but now their backs are up against the wall, and it's a tricky thing. And you know, eSuba is looking quite relaxed. They're chatting, they're laughing as we see them on screen right now. And they just seem very comfortable despite coming off like that 35-minute win, which was quite close. I would have thought maybe they'd be more tense, but they seem to be handling this very well. So we'll see. I mean, they're going through pick and bans right now on the stage. So
yeah, and it's just brutal that ESG had to lose that map.
I know.
Because really, it felt like they had it in their hands. And right now, yeah, it would be so much easier to try and experiment, maybe poke around, maybe come up with something new, maybe test if indeed Humanoid is so thrown off. Because once again, when Humanoid gets on the stage, he just puts his head on his arms like he's a little bit sleepy, like he's maybe he's just trying to stay focused, just isolate himself from all the rest. But it also looks quite worrisome because I know that it can be tiring. It's already like the 8th hour that they are sitting right here, and other than really playing their matches, yeah, sure, there's a lot of things to fill your time with, but you don't want to lose focus. So I feel like they could get it could get a little bit dull for them.
No, absolutely, and I think, but hopefully, I mean, these guys are professionals, and both of them have experience in LAN, so this is part of the process, and you just got to learn how to deal with it. I just think like what we need to look at is Euronics really. It's kind of a tale of so close, but just never close enough. And the first game they were doing fine and they were holding up, and then they lost it. And now this game they were winning, and yet it still wasn't enough. And but they need to remind themselves that they were winning. So they did improve significantly from the first game where they were just keeping up. Now they were winning, and they definitely are capable of taking a game. So, you know, head back in the game, no worries, play their gameplay, and they're all very skilled and they're very capable of beating their opponents on eSuba individually and as a team, and they need to remember that and just take that further.
Yeah, that for sure. And oh man, as you said, like just a while ago, backs up against the wall, and that truly shows the situation that ESG are in. And also, I feel like they might be getting a little bit desperate right now, because I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit redundant, but this game was actually theirs. Like, it was their game to lose, and somehow it's not like they were the ones who threw it. It somehow was eSuba who, out of nowhere, came up with incredible power that ESG was just not expecting. And I mean, if you can just get caught out like this, with 60 seconds death timers already kicking in, with your Thresh being all alone, very deep into the enemy's half of the map, okay, that's not really forgivable. So,
but that's what happens when you play against the best. You can't afford to make those mistakes, and when you do, the team is going to capitalize on them, and that's exactly what happened. They saw their opportunity, and Euronics didn't make that mistake, but suddenly it was just there. And in a way, I guess that's why eSuba is so comfortable picking these playmaking champs and working together. And they just seem to have a lot of trust in one another. There's no one tilting, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I just hope that Donuts is able to keep, because as we heard from Euronics top laner, Donuts is really the one who's able to keep them in the game because of, you know, the others do sometimes tilt, and it would be very easy in such a close match when you lose at the final minute to start tilting from this. So hopefully Donuts is still positive and keeping the team together.
yeah, hopefully that's not really exactly going to be the case if we do get to see these tilts happening right here. I don't think we saw any rage from any of the players this far. And as we mentioned, like, Extatus were pretty cheerful right here. Bulldogs also seemed like really cool guys, so nobody like went raging and throwing their headsets over the stage. Everyone like took their losses humbly. But when something like this happens, a match before which you say that you're probably not going to win it, and then you have the lead for like 99% of it, surprising even yourself, and then you're still able to lose it, I'd get pissed, really.
No, of course. And well, I mean, I think these guys are professionals, and like getting angry is a very natural thing, but I think worse is to be defeated, because it's been, eSuba haven't lost. Like, actually at all. In the group stages, now at the finals in LAN, they have just won and won and won, and this was the closest they got to losing, and they still managed to pull it out. And I really would have thought they would have pulled it out and won. Euronics would have won that match, but they didn't. And now you know, you can defeat yourself just by thinking like, well, we can't do that. We can't. And unfortunately, you know, we heard Euronics before in the picks and ban. They were like, oh, I think we actually lost the picks and ban. Whereas I actually thought they won it. I thought they did very well. But apparently, you know, he was right. They didn't, and it turned
Yeah,
it around.
but that's the thing. Maybe, yeah, they thought that they lost the picks and bans, so instead of being angry at how they lost a game that they nearly had in their pockets, maybe they're going to go back to the mindset that, all right, guys, that was part of the plan. Let's just continue how we were supposed to, okay? A huge opportunity was missed, but just dwelling in that is not going to help you at this moment.
Yeah. And there's a lot to take from it. At the end of the day, they came so close to winning, and they are able to. So that's proof. Like, that's proof enough they can hang with eSuba. They can beat eSuba if they play at the very best and don't give those opportunities. So that's what's exciting, I think. So put you on the spot. First pick, what are the priority bands?
Oh man, the priority bans, like, we already have a little bit of a conflict going
So
right
Zach,
here.
you're Zach,
I'm
yes?
definitely going for the Zach ban.
I'd probably agree
I
with
wouldn't
that.
let it through. I'm wondering about the Galio, because there is a possibility that that's not going to show up. I mean, yes, it had an impact of the game. Yes, it was an important mid laner, but I feel like it didn't like get so much ahead of the Talia.
Yeah.
It is possible to play on par with him, or maybe even better than him. So maybe that's going to be the plan coming up from eSuba right here. Maybe when the Zac is gone, they're going to try to force ESG into like maybe picking that Galio, maybe sacrificing something to get that Galio, or try to snatch it away from them. And then also go for a good mid laner that is not going to be demolished. So maybe a Zac and Orianna ban from eSuba themselves.
Yeah, no, and I do think, I understand the Zach ban, and I do think it is a very important one to ban. I think, oh, and here we go. So Lee Sin right off the bat, which is, to be honest, no surprises there. I think it's
yeah,
it's
no
just
surprise,
expected.
but I would love to see, even if only a single Lee Sin in this tournament, and there is a possibility that eSuba are closing out the entire Legend series with this map. Them having the 1-0 advantage.
Twitch again, respect ban,
Mhm.
which I definitely understand.
Yeah, so no changes this far, which might be a little bit surprising, but then on the other hand, yeah, these are the two must-have bans. But then we would say that Zac is also a must-have ban, but it's not shown up.
But the thing is, and this is actually what I was thinking, is that Euronics have first pick. So eSuba got Zach last time, but there's the opportunity that Euronics are the ones who get Zach. And maybe they're very comfortable leaving it. Oh, no, here we go.
Okay.
They don't. So this is interesting. So despite the fact that they could leave Zach open and force eSuba to ban it or pick it, they're choosing to ban it themselves, which kind of gives information to eSuba that either Euronics doesn't like playing Zach or can't play Zach, or the team doesn't feel comfortable around it. So they're just banning it out. So
Yeah,
that's interesting.
There might be a possibility of that happening. So yeah, I thought that probably eSuba are going to go for the Orianna and the Zac ban, but since that Zac ban was taken away by Euronics, of course, just go ahead and eliminate that Galio, because either ban it or play around it, or try to trick your enemies into going for it, but eSuba decide not to risk it.
Okay.
And yeah, we're going to go back to like kind of standard bans, with actually the mid lane being slightly focused. And just like this, we only have two junglers banned away. We still have the Graves, the Kha'Zix, and everything else open. So instantly it's got to be the Gragas, Kha'Zix. Graves is still left out there, but he's not going to get picked. Unless Euronics want to go for that top lane. Gragas, indeed.
Well, I mean, I think if Gragas is the jungler, it makes sense, and I would argue that actually it could have been Donut's best performance so far in the tournament. So it's a comfort pick. It makes sense. I definitely see why eSuba went for the Galio ban once they recognized that Zach was banned out. So now we have a Kha'Zix and a Brawl. Now that's interesting. Thresh is coming up, so again, it's a very comfort pick.
But we do have Jace, Camille, Fiora still open for the top lane. A lot could be happening around there, and Varus. An 80 carry pick before there is a possibility for eSuba to ban all the others away. So Euronics are going to get quite a strong of a bottom lane right there, I have to admit.
Yeah,
this
no,
far,
absolutely.
the Chains of Corruptions were completely on point in the match, the one match that we saw
Yes.
Varus in. So if they're going to keep it up, and Talia from eSuba, and I'm a fan of this pick. So this far, I love the Thresh and Varus in the bottom lane from Euronics. They can still play around with the Gragas maybe a little bit in terms of mind games. Talia right here, right before the bans, so that they limit Euronics completely and there's no possibility of going for that Galio anymore, this far it's looking good.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I see why they prioritize the Talia. But now it'll be interesting if they leave Fiora up, which nope, they're not. They're banning it out, and now we have Cammy, but we still have Kennen that's available up top. We haven't seen it so far, but Rumble is still available. Interesting, Cassiopeia. I guess that's a good counter. We have seen Pretty play Cassiopeia very well, so and there we have the Cammy.
Okay,
So,
yeah,
are they
yeah.
going to first pick Fiora? Oh, no, sorry, Fiora's been banned. So,
I expected that Camille ban to happen right here, and I'm wondering, okay, Jarvan is still open.
Right,
I
yeah.
thought that maybe the cannon is finally going to show up. I thought that maybe it's actually going to be eSuba to ban the other top laner, forcing Euronics to actually leave themselves with very little choices.
I think we will see the Kennen because I know that the Euronics top laner does like him as a champion. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a LeBlanc. Now that's interesting because the previous ones we saw weren't very good.
Yeah,
But Pretty has been very good in the game. So
we'll see, we'll see. Hopefully he can prove us that this LeBlanc can actually be strong on the LAN finals, because in the group stage, she's been amazing. But this far on the LAN finals, not
There we go,
really
there's
any
the
impact.
cannon.
Yeah, there's the cannon, so that's exactly what I thought. So I wasn't thinking about the Jarvan, but possibly with eSuba banning the Camille themselves, there would be a possibility for Euronics to ban the cannon, and then still picking the Jarvan would have left Euronics with very little options. But, well, that's how it goes. And Ashe is still going to be left out open. They're worried about the top lane a little bit too much. This way, Talia in the middle lane against LeBlanc. If the Pretty's performance is not good enough right here, it could be eSuba's pretty easy game to take. Ashe and Braum in the bottom lane looks hella strong, and Varus versus Thresh, this is going to be an interesting bot lane. Again, we don't get to see these hyper carries anymore. It's not a Kog'Maw versus a Vayne, but it's going to be just as interesting in my opinion.
no, absolutely. I think bot lane is where the focus is going to be. I think the thing with LeBlanc is that if she falls behind, it's definitely going to be a problem. But the thing about Talia is obviously she doesn't have the damage ult. So there is an opportunity of going even, but this is really going to be on Pretty. And is he going to be the Pretty that got killed twice and just kind of, got killed? Or is he going to be the one who, after he got killed twice, turned around and was able to kill Humanoid twice? So that's really going to be the interesting thing to see. I'm also curious to see, I don't know how about top lane. I mean, I definitely think Kennen has that advantage, but he's got to be careful with that lightning rush because it'll be so easy for him. If he uses it incorrectly, it's so easy for Sukutka to jump on him, lock him down, and for Yeki to turn up and just eliminate him.
And there's also a possibility other than Pretty pulling off a good performance himself out there in the middle lane. There's also a possibility for Humanoid to just kill himself a couple of times like he did in the first map. Hopefully that's not happening if eSuba are planning to take it 2-0. But it definitely is going according to the plan for both of the teams, I guess. I mean, you never plan to lose the map, but Euronics were taking into account that the first one is not going to be their strong one. And for eSuba, right now, they're at least guaranteeing themselves a 3-map finals or a 2-0 victory. So both the good scenarios that Sukutka actually counted on.
Absolutely, and I think that, eSuba is in a great position at the moment. They're not stressing. If they lose this, they have the next match, and if they don't, I mean, there we go, 2-0. I think both teams have very good bans. I know that ESG's top lane is very comfortable on Kennen, but then we've also seen Sukutka playing on Jarvan, so I don't feel like any one team got a huge advantage. I do think that the mid lane is going to be key for Euronics. That's where it's going to play, even though the bot lane is interesting. I think if the LeBlanc goes off, that's going to be really important for them to win. On the other side of things, I think eSuba is just going to they're just going to need to play as a team very much, which is the advantage of the Talia. And if they're able to work together and kind of shut down and stop Pretty from getting ahead, that's going to be it.
It's tough to decide which team holds the upper hand right here. The double teleport definitely could be a little bit of an advantage for ESG if they manage to use it right, but for that you have to get the LeBlanc going a little bit. The last time we did not see anything from LeBlanc at all. No roams. Even when she started roaming, it was too late to the game when she still had 0 kills, so she did pretty much no damage. So right now these teleports also could be very much useless, even if they were used the right way. Humanoid decided to go for a cleanse in the middle lane, and in the bottom lane, I mean, Panda once again on his Thresh. It's gotta be scary, but this time he's not gonna be able to set up the Galio so perfectly. Right now, the ultimates that are out there, maybe it's gonna be easier for Varus to hit his ultimate in the connection with that Thresh. But Donards is probably gonna rely on his own skills of throwing the explosive cask, and for the cannon, you cannot really help much. He just jumps in, right?
Absolutely. I think that Panda has been doing great on Thresh, and it's really fun to see Thresh again because he was so important in pro play because of that reason right there, the hook into the flail. And you know, other kind of support started to gain prominence in recent seasons, and it's fun to see him back because he's such a playmaking support, and I know a lot of supports love playing him for that reason. So it is, and I think both of the team's supports are very good at Thresh. We definitely saw it last game where we had, you know, I thought it was Denick who was on. No, it was Panda who was on. Thresh wasn't here. He was catching the Zac, he was catching the Vayne, he was catching the Cammy and preventing them from escaping and so on, which was excellent. Unfortunately, they, you know, still managed to lose, but here we go again, and yeah, we'll see how things go.
I'm definitely counting on him. If there is a strong point in the lineup of ESG, it definitely is Panda. But then we have to also chime in that he probably was the one that lost that game. He was the one that was caught out. He was the one that forced his team into a 4v5. So countless perfect achievements earlier on, but in the one final moment he failed a little bit. Now it's going to be the first blood for Good again. An amazing flash. Donards is not able to follow because he doesn't have his own. So it's not going to be traded back. eSuba with the advantage. And well, that barrel, I don't think that he thought there is a possibility to find the guy with it anymore, but I guess you've got to take your chances, or just check if there are Krogs in there possibly to control Yaki's jungle routes a little bit better. But anyway,
check if there's a check in the brush. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think it's... I thought that was a good gank when I saw the flash, and then they still managed to get a kill, and this is going to be a bit of a problem. It's exactly what Java needed, because obviously it's a ranged against melee matchup, so Kennen has the advantage. But look at that, just straight again, we have eSuba just stepping up, and from the beginning, we're not even 5 minutes in, grabbing the advantage, and very confidently as well.
For sure, and teleport used up in the middle lane for Humanoid, still not much burned, and he played very well in the first skirmish out there. Now he loses it a little bit, but it just evens out their hit points. But he's a little bit behind on mana, and wondering how long that can go on, and which one of the players is going to get the best of it. Because for now, they're really close in farm. I would even say they're completely even, because I think Thalia is going to start killing off minions from this wave only a second from now. Yeah, so it's 2 creeps difference in the middle lane, so that's nothing. In the top lane, also not really seeing an advantage forming up, and there is Yaki finishing off Pretty. And I was saying how Humanoid had a great trade a little bit earlier with Pretty, but then Pretty won his own, and that probably ensured him that, yeah, I'm fine in this lane, everything's cool, everything's even, not much is gonna happen to me. But then he burned his flash, he died, and Humanoid can stay a little bit longer, and there goes your 2 creep advantage, I guess.
I mean, yeah, no, absolutely, and I think there's 2 things to point out. One is Pretty's teleport is down, so this is hurting him a lot in terms of the creep he's missing. You mentioned how they were doing on the CS scores, and everything was actually very even up until this point, but they managed to push it in. Creep is dying in the mid lane. He had to walk back after burning his teleport, which isn't great, but another thing you mentioned, which you were asking what type of Yankee is going to turn up on the Kazakhs.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's a dominant one, because he's 2 ganks, 2 kills.
Yeah, and Donards, sometimes he hits and misses with that Kazakhs, but he says, like, sends out a statement that his Gragas is consistently very good, but is it going to be enough to control Yaki? Because it's not even level 6 yet. So he doesn't have that explosive cask to control the enemy team. And if in that time Yaki is able to build up his dominance, then it's going to be extremely good, really close to the death of Warden, but he's still actually alive. It's a good guy this time. It might be a little bit harder to run away from there. And that is going to be ESG not securing that kill. All right, no aggression from Donards. He doesn't have a flash, so no chance for a flash body slam in here. But still really close, and not sure who I would say was the victor of this trade.
I think ESG was the victor there because they definitely, like, it was good positioning from Donards. I think that's why I'm kind of giving him the advantage, because he recognized the opportunity for a gank up top and the vulnerability of his top laner, and was there. He read Yaki very well and was able to turn it around. Great stun from Kennen as well on Yaki, and able to prevent him from finishing him off just by, you know, a hair's breadth.
Oh, the red buff is still in a way. Donards secured this one. Yaki actually smited way too earlier, and yeah, that's going to be pretty secure in the kill. Now, definitely, ESG are the ones who come out on top of this fight, because, in my opinion, it was a little bit too close for comfort for Warden right there in the top lane, and if not the perfect positioning of Donards, he definitely would have been dead. While right here, Donards saved the day, but he didn't get any kills. But right here, the counter jungling was perfect. And there we go, Braum with an amazing engage. And now another great wall from Dalia, but she again sacrifices herself, standing in the range of the turret. And once again, it's just a perfect individual performance from Pandar. His skills never miss. The death sentences are huge. The flays always in the right direction and always grabbing you at the most important moments. So it's going to be a 1-for-1, but eSuba engaging this and cutting the enemies away from the turret, hitting the glacial fissure on two people, on both people, so the best possible way. And they still lose man.
I mean, it's a complete failure on eSuba's part, to be honest. I thought Denick, there was no hesitation in Glacial Fissure, jumped out, great arrow from the brush, and Talia roams down, and then they completely flop it at the end of the day. And like, as you said, great play by Panda, but I'm very disappointed on eSuba from that, because if you can't pull it off, why take the risk when you've got the lead? Because now ESG is just completely back in the game and is playing very well.
Especially, oh, that's going to be Yaki actually jumping, still with the enough time left on the ultimate to stun him, but apparently Takutka just recovered and was able to flag and drag his way in for the kill. So that's very good. And why the situation in the bottom lane happened, especially after the death of their Kazakhs in the jungle, I feel like they had the pressure that they had to do something because the Kazakhs died. Maybe that was the reason. But now they decided to go for the top lane again. That's where they fixed it. So everything still is fine, more or less.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and that's exactly what Euronics needs to be doing. They need to be going in and finding these picks in the jungle like this. Look at that. I mean, again, it's coming from Panda. What a great play. And Lantern. And, and a pick. What excellent play from him and just the team. And this is exact as I was saying, but I mean, they've just proved my point. This is what Euronics needs to be doing. They need to be finding these picks in the jungle, bringing the team numbers advantage and just grabbing them. And, you know, Pretty is now 1-1-1. He's got an equal amount of farm despite the early gank against him where he lost farm. And so it's looking like this is a great game and a great start for Euronics. But we said that last game. And it was the case right up until they lost it. And
yeah, and this time it is actually eSuba who is a little bit ahead instead of Euronics Gaming. But most importantly, I have to point out that last trick. From a position where Donards was slightly caught, was about to be forced away from the enemy jungle, he was pulled straight into a kill on Humanoid. And Takutka maybe a little bit overzealous right here. He definitely wanted to get that kill on Warden. In every single time, Warden has been the dominant top laner right there. And just take a look at that. He's 0-2-0 and he's still able to keep up with the farm. Hell, he's 5 CS ahead of the enemy top laner.
Well, I mean, he is a range top laner, so I guess it makes it easier. But definitely, I mean, he baited Sakutka in there. He was low health, he was standing there, and really Pretty would have gotten that kill if he had hit that chain. But here we go. Are they going to now kill Humanoid? Looks like it. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. And this is exactly what we were saying needed to happen if Pretty went off. And you know, I was saying that I think Pretty is the key to Euronics winning with this LeBlanc, and he is now getting slowly fed, and he's now bullying Humanoid out. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to keep this up.
Yeah, and Humanoid did not really completely fix the little mistakes that he was making in the previous game on the Thalia. It still looks exactly the same rather than a little bit better than I expected it to be. He caught out a little bit, and then not only a little
Look
bit,
at
it's
that
gonna be a
damage.
kill on him, and then the Cataclysm, but into a stun from Kennen. However, I think Jarpen could have enough exactly with Q managed to secure the kill, but with the pretty, it doesn't look so pretty in terms of the situation that he's in. So, in the bottom lane also, mistakes are made all over the place by eSuba, but it started with a 4-4, and it's now 7-7. So they don't, like, get demolished in this exchange, but it looks horrible. The kills from ESG are much more gracious, are much more pleasant to the eye than what eSuba is doing right here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's messy from eSuba, but at least they're turning it around and they're seeing the opportunities. You know, they're getting the chance to jump on. I expected a bit more from ESG's bot lane. I mean, Avaris Thresh is a good lane, and I mean, he has the 2 kills, so I guess I can't complain too much. But at the same time, you know, Thresh has got a number of supports, so why are they getting caught out and what's happening? But this damage from Pretty, he is just really, he's got his Gunblade and there we go. Oh, sorry, Hextech Revolver.
It begins.
Yeah,
It begins.
And this is just, you know, he's just suddenly appearing and blowing people up to, you know, taking off 3/4 of their health with 1 combo. And if he has anyone else with him, whether it's Donards, whether it's Kennen, you know, that will be it.
Yeah, and Humanoid, sometimes he got a little bit over-aggressive on the previous matchup. That's why he got most of the deaths with Talia, but this time, it's not that he doesn't cooperate with the team or doesn't do it well enough. It's just that he's not allowed to by the enemy team, and that's what must hurt him the most, because it's not really his fault that Pretty is just overwhelming so much with the LeBlanc, and he's gonna have the distortion again. That was confirmed death already a long time ago. Pretty was just toying with his prey.
But that's great, because it's good to see Pretty so confident and able to play that type of game, because that's exactly what you need. When you pick that LeBlanc, you have to be confident, you have to be able to pull off those combos, and you have to be able to do that damage. And it's great to see him not just winning, but actually bullying his lane. But this is where we see the success and the experience of eSuba. Their mid laner dies, they recognize that the jungler is there of the enemy team, so they send their jungler bot lane, they bully out the Burble and Panda, and they take the bot tower. And this is just, it's such good play and rotational and objective play from eSuba.
And it's the first dirt that is taken down. They were aware of ESG pushing down the middle, but they got the first one. It's much less significant than it once was, but it still is important. Now, once again, the ultimate for the ultimate, and the flash is burned by Ordain, and he even still ends up lower than with what HP he's run away towards that tower. Another Q hits him, and that Dragon Strike is real annoying. It has to be. The Drake also taken care of by eSuba, and as you said, that's how they show their experience. They take the bottom lane turret in a seemingly bad situation. I wouldn't say hopeless, but definitely a bad one. And then they transfer it over into a Drake, while their top laner still just retains the pressure. The teleport, the flash is burned on Kennen. He's not going to show up in the teamfights anytime soon. And I think for Sekutka is more than good.
Absolutely, and like, you know, really, when you're talking about a range into melee matchup, the range should be winning. But that performance from Yetki, who came top and was able to kill and catch out Kennen a few times, and it's translated. I mean, we just have to look at the tower. The top lane tower is nearly dead, whereas the eSuba tower up top is full health. So that says a lot. And then we're looking bot lane, that's dead. We have equal, I mean, mid lane tower is definitely eSuba, but it definitely seems like the map is a lot more open for eSuba, and it seems like they're reading the objective play much better. They grab the bottom tower, they grab the bottom dragon, they rotate that bot lane top to pressure that top tower, which is nearly dead.
Alright, so let's see what the AD carries can bring into the game, because we've not seen them for quite a bit of time. I mean, there have been a lot of exchanges in the bottom lane, but not necessarily big team fights with the rest of the teams joining in. And Chain of Corruption, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, both of these ultimates can make huge changes to the team fights if they're used the right way. Donards slightly caught out, but with the help of Panda, nobody's ever in danger in the lineup of ESG, it seems.
I know, he's just always ready. He just sees it, and he's so ready to position himself. But here we go again. Pretty, look at that, 3/4 of damage. Just done.
He's still risking a little bit, jumping into the turrets. Humanoid is able to return a little bit of damage, even if he gets ethereal chains to the ground. He's still gonna have the cleanse ready the moment he needs it. He's got the flash, but so does Pretty, and I don't think that the Talia is safe enough.
But look at bot lane, you know, we had Jarvan pushed up nearly under the tower, which forces Pretty to back off and to try and go down to help Jordan. And it's just so well played by Sekutko, and I think this whole tournament he's really been a standout player. Look at that enchanted arrow, it's straight, no hesitation
and
from
the Glacial
Denny.
Fisher accidentally also hits Donards, which is definitely going to help in this situation, but I'm not too sure if it's a great idea to have Denny push in until he dies and manages to run away from there at the right moment. Sekutka joins the fray, but Pretty also shows up right here, and it's just going to be no kills for either of the sides. Humanoid finally fails the ultimate of his, but still forces the enemies into a little bit of uncomfortable position, forcing them to use their summoner spells. Donards flashing away, Free jumping away, and finally Humanoid is not the one that is running away.
I mean, this was such a close fight, and eSuba just pressured so well, and Talia definitely, like, the ult wasn't able to completely cut it off, but she arrived in time, hit the knock-up, and two of them, Panda and Pretty, was so close to dying. Murmur was below half health. Donards was close to dying as well. Like, what a just great performance from eSuba, and there we go, look at that. 2 dead, but then at the same time, Euronics recognized the opportunity, went bot and took a tower. So they're playing very well, Euronics, and this is just such a neck and neck game. We have 30,300 gold to 30,900 gold. It's so close, and both teams are playing so well that it's really anyone's game.
Definitely, and no one, wow, it's 19th minute, nobody's taking care of the Rift Herald, and that's a big priority this far. I think at most there is one match in the group stage where the Rift Herald was skipped. This far in the finals, no one skipped the Rift Herald, so it would be the first time on the LAN finals for sure, and probably only the second time in the entire tournament. So close to killing off that cannon. Every single time this battle between the top laners ends up real close, but actually all of the time,
Good escape.
Cannon is on the back foot, which is real interesting. As you said, the range advantage doesn't give him anything right here. Good escape for sure, and now a good Shadow Crystal Arrow into a stun from a Braum. Perfect execution right here. eSuba not only take the turret down, but also get a kill with themselves. So it's going to be a little bit of an advantage countering what's happening in the top lane at the same time.
But what poor positioning. What was he doing there alone in mid lane, so exposed? They don't have many wards on either side of the river. It's just, you know, it's
no ultimate.
He shouldn't be there.
So he's jumping in right here, risking a lot, but the help of Pretty is definitely going to be enough. His presence alone is going to be enough. A good Glacial Fisher. Danik also dodges that barrel roll, and that's definitely going to save his life. Unless Pretty's somewhere in the vicinity, you never can count out that LeBlanc. She's very quick. She could have just wrapped around from behind, but that's not what was in Pretty's mind. He just stayed in the middle lane. He just quelled the entire situation.
I think Euronics there just threw a lot at mid lane because they knew they had to defend that mid tower. They couldn't allow eSuba to kill the second tier tower, which would open up their whole jungle and really put Euronics on the back foot. Pretty is doing very well, and you know, I mean, like, to be honest, the whole team is doing fine, but that last kind of couple of kills from eSuba put them about, what, 2,000 ahead, 1,500 ahead. And this is what we've seen each time. It's a little advantage that eSuba gets, and then they just start growing it. It's 1,500, suddenly it's 3,000, suddenly it's 5, and the next thing you know, it's 10,000, and it's done. And they need to be careful. Euronics can't allow them to take too many objectives or fall too far behind.
I feel like Pretty is starting to drop down a little bit, and is going to continue to just drop the game a tiny bit. He's not keeping up the pace, he's not able to find the fix for himself. Humanoid is able to get into a team fight with another ultimate and finally put the pressure down, finally able to join his team. And wow, it is a Baron. The Rift Herald indeed was not taken at all, but 21-minute Baron by eSuba. With this far, we're not really feeling too confident, but into a team fight that might be completely lost. Pretty is right inside of the Baron pit, and nobody can actually get to him like that. They're not any kind of close to finding any kind of kills. Another good death sentence connects from Panda that actually baits him into his own death, as Sheriff was able to pop the passive and just finish him off alongside with the concussive blows from Braum. 1 for 1. Very, very good of a trade for eSuba. Finally, in all these messy team fights that they this far got, finally something goes to their favor. Finally, we're not looking at this with a sour taste.
Absolutely, and I think what a great read from eSuba to recognize that they could grab the Baron right there. But as you've mentioned, Humanoid's positioning has been questionable, and he keeps getting caught out in situations where he really shouldn't be.
Ooh.
And it needs to stop.
Oh, he jumps in even further, but misses. The Glacial Fissure, well, it was 2 ways where he could have gone, but unfortunately 4. And then it was not the right one that he's chosen. And just getting that Glacial Fissure for one single moment would have been enough for Ash to pop the passive, and that would have been a kill for sure. Anyway, though, they can transform it into a Mountain Drake, so nothing's lost for them. And ESG, as I said, they're starting to just simply lose the momentum. Pretty's not getting any kills anymore. Now, just by the enemy's support, he's forced to burn his flash and run away with the tail between his legs. It is getting quite tough. Humanoids.
Whoa, and he's on a ward, and look at
my.
that. Is he got away. Oh, maybe not. Look at the flash.
But that's a mistake.
Aggressive.
Sheriff puts himself in a very uncomfortable situation, but if Yaki manages to jump in, it could still turn into some kills. Kennen is too far away in order to pop his ultimate, but it's more than enough to kill Sheriff, who's pretty much left alone. Then it cannot peel for him so much, and that's what
Way
you don't want
too
to do.
aggressive.
I mean, we talked about Kingwin a little bit earlier, and
Yes.
how eSuba, yeah, they faced off against the Mori in the past many times, and against these players on different teams overall. So I'd say that Sheriff just pulled a walleye.
Yes, that's a name from the past, isn't it? Blast from the past. I mean, there was a great read at the start. You know, Pretty had no idea he was standing on that ward. Great stun, and then he just flashed in and gave up 2 kills, which meant that suddenly Euronics were right back in it. Here we go, Humanoid caught out once again, and the fact that Kennen, who has, I would say, been the furthest behind this whole game on the Euronics team, is able to solo Talia like that, it's concerning, because it just shows, like, look, once again, Euronics is right back in it, and not because Euronics has suddenly found some miracle, but because eSuba has just handed it right to them. And this is after they got a Baron. They had a Baron on 4 players, and what did they do with it? I mean, I'm looking at the map, nothing's changed.
Yeah, the 4-on-4 right there. They lost 1 person, they killed 1 person. That's where they should have reset, but that's something that we never got to experience. And once again, Humanoid just simply giving up his life to a guy that's been constantly losing to the Jarvan. It is getting out of hand right here. Alright, he can lose against Pretty because Pretty is just putting immense amounts of pressure on him. He's very mobile of a champion, and he's just giving his 100% to just bully that Talia. But when Talia goes and destroys the work of other of his teammates, then it gets concerning.
Well, him and Sheriff, definitely. They both need to, I think, calm down a little bit. Humanoid needs to play more defensive and more with the team. This is the thing. He's playing a Talia. He's not playing Kassadin and so on, who has these huge escapes. He's able to amp it down. But here we go. Look at fighting starting again.
The death sentences never miss, and the finisher is going to come from Pretty. Now running away is the primary objective for eSuba right here, but another great Glacial Fissure yanking from behind, but he's not attacking even the right guy. They're not going to be able to even kill the cannon that he focused on. And then well, he was dodging away from Donards a little bit earlier already. Now the minions are going to help him, so he's going to get stand behind
What a deep dive.
But yeah, it is a deep dive, but with Donards so tanky, with the wave of creeps already coming in, you can't allow yourself to do that easily. And Humanoid being the last man standing, of course he's not going to be able to do much. And even the piercing arrow reaches him, so he's down to very low HP, luckily, staying alive.
Luck is it, exactly. Luck is why he survived there, nothing else. But what I find like crazy is that actually this is exactly it. Euronics won that fight, got an inhibitor, and Kennen didn't even have his ultimate. He flanked, did a great amount of damage and stuns, but if he had his ultimate, I think that would have been an ace, and that would have been possibly more than just 1 tower and 1 inhibitor.
Yeah, that definitely could have been.
So eSuba need to be very careful here. Euronics is playing great because they've now actually taken the lead. They've turned it around, and I would never, you know, once eSuba got that Baron, I thought, what a great read. They lost a mid laner, but they managed to get a support, and what are they going to do with this? Because this is how they close out the game and just open the map out. And they did nothing, and Euronics has just played very well, very calm, and have taken all the advantages, it seems.
Yeah, and I said how I feel like it was even to the extent of unfair that ESG lost that first map. And right here, eSuba feel possibly godlike after what's happened in the previous map, because Sheriff jumps into a 1v4 trying to just get a kill that's, after all, would not have changed much. Then they go for the Baron, they take the Baron alright. They get into a not so favorable teamfight, out of which they still find a kill, which is good in these circumstances. And they are supposed to just fall back and calmly execute this Baron. Take 1, 2 inner turrets. Just progress the game a little bit. Instead, they lose it all. They thwart all the advantage that they got themselves, and they're getting caught off guard one by one. ESG, it's going to be... No, it's not going to happen. They're not losing this game. Unless something completely out of this world happens, unless they make some amazingly stupid mistakes, they're not losing this game. eSuba are making too many of these mistakes.
I mean, I wouldn't count your chickens before they've hatched, as they say, you know, and I don't want to jinx it. I would love to see us go to Game 3, but this is just really, it's surprising how sloppy eSuba is playing now. Maybe it is, maybe they're a bit tired. As you said, Humanoid was putting his head down. Maybe he is tired, but like, even Sekutka there, like, that flash was just completely wasted. He wasn't getting away, he flashed and died anyway, so what was the point of it? This is becoming, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, looks like Euronics is baiting a Baron. Or maybe they'll just go and take it.
There is a possibility like that.
Jarvan's TP is up, so even though he's pushing out bot lane, at any point he could jump in, and they have a number of good...
Sheriff obliterated already, also receiving quite a bit of damage from that Kha'Zix, but Kha'Zix is not going to win the fight alone. And yeah, you said baiting or maybe taking it completely. And in
Looks
my
like both.
opinion, yeah, exactly. They could have just taken the Baron if eSuba doesn't approach. If they do approach, they can even win a team fight while fighting the Baron. No problem.
They lost no one there. I mean, look at that. What a good game. Kind of like turnaround. It was so clean. They baited it. They sat there. Sheriff went way too far in, and Euronics just knew what they could. Yeah, that's very true. Euronics knew exactly what they could do, and now they have a 5,000 gold lead.
Oh, the 5,000 gold lead. The further we get into this game, the goal is going to start meaning less, but they've got a Baron buff. One inhibitor down in the middle lane. They're not too far from taking any more inhibitors, and I don't doubt that they will be able to take more inhibitors on this Baron. The question is, will they push further? Because I'm quite sure the Pre will be looking for these kills. It's possible that the Cannon will want to run in with the ultimate. There is the explosive cask available. Pander, even if he doesn't want to, he's gonna go for a godlike hook because it's not a problem for him apparently. So ESG are now looking to close out this game.
Well, Panda has half of his team's assists, but I think really it's Pretty that we need to bring attention to, because as you were saying, at mid-game he kind of started to drop off slightly, but 819, I mean, like, there's 3 kills he hasn't been involved with in some capacity. It's just, he's dominating, and his performance is, I think, really what is allowing Euronics to win. But what a confidence boost as well.
Come on, can Panther once again break the game for Euronics Gaming? The Cannon is gonna be the second one to die. Donners is completely caught off guard. Pretty is getting exhausted, and somehow Mermal is able to win his fight, but it doesn't change anything. It's gonna be a 5-4-1. eSuba once again back into the game, and Humanoid, we're talking about how he's asleep for 99% of the game. He gets a quadra kill.
There we go.
Now he's going to tell the enemies what to do.
I know, like crazy. There we go. As we're praising Euronics for everything that they're doing right, and how eSuba is
Not
just
enough to
not
close that
performing
game.
very well, there we go. They just suddenly throw it all away. And they had the Baron as well. They could have just pushed the lanes, taken what's in the jungle. This is just very disappointing. And now suddenly eSuba is nearly even with gold. With this tower, they're going to grab the inhibitor. Their inhibitor has respawned. So I don't know what's going to happen.
They evened out the game. Right now it's okay, very close, but from behind there's going to be a teleport coming in. The Cannon does have the ultimate, but he doesn't have a flash, and he's still got to circle around to find Sekutka. And then again, Sheriff are taking a different route, and I think that Sekutka can get away with the Dragon Flag, or not!
What a great
because there's Panda in there, but this is going to be a kill. A single kill. eSuba are smart
Maybe
to
not.
let that happen. Maybe not even that.
Oh.
Explosive cask. But Donards, yeah, going to such extent, like throwing out a lot right there just to secure that single kill. But it's all right. It's eSuba not making the mistake that they made a little bit earlier. They did not give up the entirety of the team. It was like after this Baron, they got a 1-for-1, but instead they're falling back. Now they lost one person, instead they're actually falling back like they were supposed to. And yeah, ESG are still probably going to take this inhibitor, but they're not going to be as close to finishing the game as they were just a while ago.
No, absolutely, and I mean this is good because they're grabbing that inhibitor, which balances things out, but is...
Oh,
what was that?
goodness.
By Humanoid?
Yeah, was not expecting that anybody would follow from ESG on towards that cannon in the top lane. Thought that he was alone, thought that they could catch him off guard, but that way, this should be the end of the game. That is one big mistake that Humanoid has made. Getting a quadra kill just a while ago was amazing, but that huge mistake is going to cost them very dearly. There's going to be 2 inhibitors taken away. ESG don't want to fight anymore because of the team fight that they lost a little bit earlier, so they're taking it easy, they're taking it slow. But I feel like they could be able, with one good hook, with a good explosive cast that's already back up, they could already be looking to finish off the game. But actually, do they have what it takes to do that?
This is dangerous because it
Really
could also be
dangerous.
turned around very easily. And yeah, I think they should back off right now. Good, because you know, we have Humanoid coming back. We have Denik coming back, and they still do have champions that are able to suddenly turn things around very quickly. They've got 2 inhibs open. The bottom tower, in a you know, second tier tower, is below half health. They should just go back, reset, manage the waves, push them out, take bot tower, and then look at what's happening and see where they can pull the advantages.
Oh man, this just gets so complicated. Once again, ESG have everything in their hands, and once again, Panda is left like 5 meters behind his team, and he's instantly dead. So it definitely has to break them down a tiny bit, but it's not yet the time to give up for sure. ESG, they have to just retain their confidence, because right now losing the confidence is, I think, what would be the worst thing that could happen. If they give the openings over to eSuba, if they allow Humanoids to get back into the game, it would be the real bad thing. Tekudka is dangerous as always. Donards also shot down in the previous fight. It's gotta feel completely wrong, because this far he was doing whatever he wanted to.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think this is, like, as you said, the gold difference is, well, I mean, it's basically non-existent. It's still only about 1,000 to 2,000. And when you get to this later in the game and everyone has their full items, it just becomes less important. It really comes down to how you play your champion and how you play as a team, and the positioning more than anything. And we've seen Humanoid definitely make those mistakes of positioning, which could at this point cost them the game, definitely with 2 inhibs open. But on the other side, we've also seen mistakes occasionally from Panda, but also the whole team, and here we go.
Sheriff has to be really careful. He was the one that was caught off guard, but on the most occasions, actually, the explosive cask is going to save him. Redemption also comes in, so a little bit of healing for him. And Donards is going to be the one to die, so he's gone all right off the bat of the team, but at the same time, Yaki died off the back of it. The support for support trade comes through, and who's going to grab the carries first? Triple kill for Sheriff all of a sudden. The guy that was caught most of the time gets a triple kill. Quadra kill just a while ago for Humanoid. What's happened with what's happening overall in this entire series with eSuba? The people that are not doing anything at the start of the game are carrying the game. The people that are supposed to carry are not visible anymore when it matters the most.
I think it's just poor positioning. You know, the explosive class didn't really hit much and kind of saved them or delayed their deaths. You know,
It tossed him away from Pretty, who was just jumping.
Exactly, yeah. And then we had Varus, who was left alone there and was able to get picked up. And it just seems like they're just not being very well positioned. They're kind of pushing things in. They're having advantages, but they're not able to push it in such a way. And eSuba is seeing the chance to jump and eliminate them, and they're taking it. And here we go. This is the payoff. They're grabbing the Elder Drink. And then we're seeing pings on Baron. And I don't... I mean, Euronics isn't saying they want to go for it. Are they?
I'm wondering. I'm wondering what it's gonna actually be. But I don't think that ESG can actually pull off that Baron if like 2 people show up from eSuba. It only takes 2 people.
Absolutely. I mean, like, this is a Baron at the moment would just be incredibly risky. So I doubt it. That's the
Especially with
situation.
the Elder Drake. Anyone that shows up on eSuba is going to be a big threat for ESG, especially with 2 team fights that they lost. They're not so confident anymore. There comes the ultimate from Talia. There comes the teleport from eSuba. And actually, ESG are cut off, but I'm not too sure if eSuba also want to engage on that. What a jump in by Zakutka, but a huge risk. And it doesn't pay out because of the play again. Bander once again hooks him in. And is it going to be a kill on Zakutka? He has to! He fails the combo even right there, but manages to survive.
I mean, what a great turnaround from ESG. You know, they saw them coming in, they stepped back, a good disengage from Donards, and then they stepped back. Ooh. But I've got to question this, like, is it worth it? And now you just
finally
lost
a
the
missed
Kenneth
hook from Thresh. Donax is dead. The jungler is gone right next to a Baron pit. It could maybe even an ace. Okay, Bree is going to take down the Nexus at the same time. He does not have a chance of winning it. No way.
It's a quadra kill for the...
Oh, their inhibitor also respawns, so he cannot even attack the Nexus. Come on, the worst thing that could happen to him. And he's going to be dead. That's an ace. But what did they do right now? They have an AD carry and the support pushing down the middle lane. And they will take only the inhibitor in exchange for that.
Jeez, that was, wow. I mean, great read by Pretty that the game, that fight was lost and going for it, because he really could have finished it if that inhib hadn't respawned. I don't think they can end it. Yeah, well, Baron is definitely an option. I mean, Pretty's not up for another 30 seconds, and Jordan on Cannon isn't up for another 20, so they could definitely burn through it.
Huge minion wave for the bottom lane also is going to be a little bit of a problem for ESG. Someone has to take care of that. And yeah, we don't see Donards even going the way of the Baron. So that's an Elder Drake and the Baron taken by eSuba. But these guys are really getting the objectives. But this far, we saw some special kind of Baron throws. It was not a throw inside of the Baron pit where you lost a team fight. It was a throw that when you got a Baron, you felt overconfident and died to the enemy team.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I just... God, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit nervous here because it seems that Euronics had every opportunity there to win and close out the game, but a couple of poor positioning mistakes meant that they lost that advantage. eSuba saw that and really capitalized on it, and whilst they seemed to kind of play a bit sloppy here at the end when it was actually like there was a real chance of them losing, they seem to have found the discipline and the skills that they were lacking at the start. And with Humanoid getting a quadra, then Sheriff getting a quadra, I'm looking at the scores, like 11 kills on Ashe, 6 on Talia. You know, like these are strong champs. I mean, Humanoid also has 350 CS. They're pretty much full item builds. And from everything I've seen so far, it looks like eSuba is the better team fighter. And I'm a bit worried that Euronics is just not going to position themselves correctly and lose this next fight.
Not sure. There still is a possibility of one good ultimate, one good hook from ESG who was close to being one, possibly. Chain of Corruption, Explosive Cask, and the ultimate from Cannon. That is the Slicing Maelstrom. All of these could be just lethal, completely lethal. What a good wall! It's going to guarantee a free inhibitor, but what after that? Don't get over aggressive. That's definitely a good thing to tell eSuba right now, because they tend to continue when they're not supposed to. That's a good opportunity. Kevin has to burn a flash. Pretty also wasn't too healthy right there. Wasn't sure about that entry of his, but gets away with a distortion.
But that just shows, you know, that Kennen has had to burn that flash, which would have been so crucial for his ultimate and to stun everyone. So we're in a situation where Kennen has no flash now. Pretty is too scared to go in. I'm not sure. You know, 2 inhibs down, and there's nothing on the map. This is the problem. This is where, when Euronics had 2 inhibs down and they lost it, they had the Elder Drake and the Baron up for eSuba to turn it around and pick those up. Now the map is empty, so even if they win, it's only really a delaying point, and it looks like eSuba just has stopped making mistakes.
Well, let's see. eSuba stopping making mistakes makes me worry that once again it's gonna be just one showing up that's gonna push it over the line. And oh, there we go, Donards with perfect positioning. He's right behind the entirety of the enemy team. This could be eSuba going down in this team fight. He's got the control ward. Nobody's checking it. Yaki, come on, go in.
Oh my god.
Oh man, he doesn't do that. There is Donards. He's jumping in. An explosive cast. Sheriff is straight into the slicing Maelstrom, but he's still not gonna be able to die. Right there he is.
Donards
GR
with it.
losing it. A triple kill instantly
There
for
we go, that's
Yaki
it.
out of nowhere. A double kill for Humanoid to combine all that. And this is going to be a GG. The third and last inhibitor falling. Everything is destroyed by eSuba. eSuba without the Nexus turrets, with LeBlanc backdooring them a while back, they're still able to grab this victory, and it was amazing of a series. Finally seeing something extremely evened out. Even though it was a 2-0, we cannot
I mean,
say that
Euronics
Euronics didn't
definitely
put up a
turned up.
fight.
Like, they should feel very proud of themselves. At the end of the day, the first game went to 32, 35 minutes or so,
They could have
which
won
was the
both the
longest
games.
game, and they absolutely could have won that. And in this game, they were winning most of it again, and they were performing very well. So it was really excellent. I think a great performance by both teams, and what a great final. So I'm going to go speak to the winners, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, all right. So I am just astonished. Pander, what the hell of a thresh is that? I mean, his team was not able to use it enough to grab a victory, but Pander on Euronics game, that's some immense talent. You've got to be careful because the talent hunters are going to come your way. The headhunters definitely have their aims at you already, and yeah, the teams just thanking each other for the match. Right now, Nikita is going to go over there to the stage, come up with some good interviews, summing up the match and the entire tournament. The trophy is going to land into the hands of eSuba after all, though an amazing fight from Euronics Gaming. I indeed am satisfied with the grand finals. A little bit unhappy that Euronics didn't even manage to secure a single map, because losing the first map was just unfair to them. They had it in their pockets. The second one, similar, but definitely their mistakes were clearer to see. And there were many more of them, like them losing 3 team fights instead of just a single man. And not even a team fight, because it was Panda just getting caught out, unfortunately, and that's what lost them the game. Right here, Donards had an amazing setup, and everything could have gone just right, but Sheriff, with a quick reaction, flashes away. Cannon didn't catch anybody with the slicing Maelstrom, and the Kazakhs just completely cleaned it up. So, yeah, I guess that sums it up. I guess everybody should be getting ready soon enough for the wrap-up on the stage right there. Probably you're going to see some representative from ELC Gaming giving the prizes over to the players. Overall, amazing LAN finals right here. We already had the Hearthstone Superstar series right here in this garage, in the Big Betty. We had the CSGO Legends series finals already right here, but this, in my opinion, is definitely the most hype event I've taken part in, because I wasn't on the Esports Superstars in Hearthstone, and it was an amazing deal with some cosplay contests and all the stars being in here. But this one is definitely the best semi-pro team that has been done here this far, and hopefully that's going to motivate ELC to create some more League of Legends tournaments, and overall the Czech teams just showing their dominance. But it was such a close 2-0. Euronics Gaming, this isn't even their main team. Consider that. A warning that the Germans are also in here to dominate the scene, possibly. So, yeah, I'm definitely happy, content with what we've seen this far today. And overall, when I toss it over to the stage, I think that I won't be coming back here anymore. So I would like to thank everybody that has been here on the stage, on the venue, and everybody that was watching the stream for tuning in to the 4 days of the group stage, to the LAN finals of our tournaments. It's been amazing 5 days combined, and very thrilling to see all these matches. Some of the teams didn't live up to the expectations. Some of the teams definitely exceeded them. And yeah, Gameizer, they won the match against Euronics Gaming. They were probably the favorites. They were the ones that were supposed to be here on the LAN finals, but Euronics definitely did not disappoint at all. And just waiting for the stage to get ready. I'm guessing they need to just get all the last things done. And the celebration is about to begin. And I'm kind of left out right here because like the stage is in front of me, but I'm behind the truck, so I'm not gonna get to see that firsthand. So I'm gonna have to run immediately as I say my farewells to you finally. So yeah, Leon is up there, I guess. Nikita is up there, and we're just getting the players prepared. So. Okay, we're still waiting a couple of seconds, I'm being told, but let them take their time. Excuse me, so that everything looks perfectly fine, as it is an important moment definitely for eSuba. And yeah, Euronics, they fought well. They have my thanks for taking part in this tournament, for putting up such a great performance in here, for coming up with such great ideas for these finals, for being such good guys on the pre and post game interviews. It was just awesome to meet all of these guys right here. And also, let's just run it all down a tiny bit. Bulldog Esports, they got the 4th place with 370 euros prize money. Right there. Alza Status were the ones who beat them, but they were also the ones to take the 3rd place and the exact same amount of prize money as the Euronics knocked them out the moment Ecstatis thought that they started figuring out how to beat the German team. But apparently Euronics were a little bit too much. Right now, really shortly, on the main stage, Euronics Gaming will be granted 750 euros, and for eSuba we're going to have 1,500 euros prize money and the great trophy of ELC Gaming's of Big Betty. So we're already in the stage. I'm going to throw it over right there. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Neuro Integrate, and maybe we'll get to see each other again.
Thank you very much, Nero. What a great final. Can everyone please put your hands together for the Legends winners, eSuba. So we have your trophy for you right here. Congratulations, guys. So we had a great last game there. It was 2-0, as you said you'd hope it would be, but it was a lot closer than I guess a lot of people would have expected. In fact, some people would have said you guys weren't going to win at the start of those games. So how did you guys pull it out?
So we were really stressed in this game because we made a lot of mistakes, especially when we got caught by LeBlanc. And we figured it out, and it turned out well. So we feel really great.
It definitely did. I mean, even though you guys seem to be a bit behind, you seem to control the tempo, and you never, you made 1 or 2 mistakes, but you never gave them the win. I mean, your performance as well was very strong. Do you feel very happy with how you performed this whole tournament?
Yeah, I feel really happy because I'm playing this game after 4 months. So this is my first LAN after 4 months of not playing. So I'm really happy. And I don't know if I could be happy with my performance, but I guess.
But as a team, you guys are very happy and pleased with what you've won, yep?
Yeah, I think the guys are really happy, and I think they pretty enjoyed it.
So that's great to hear. All right, once again, everyone, please put your hands together for the Legends winners, eSuba. Back to you, Dominic, at the desk.
All right, I'm actually back for a little longer. Alongside with me is Philip, who is our moderator on the chat for the most part of the online series. But right here on the venue, he's still working hard, as always, to provide you the best content with the Legend series. But we've got the giveaway to sort out. It's the Garen little collectible from League of Legends. We have it in a box like somewhere. We should have brought it, but well, it's too late now. So we're gonna draw the winner right now, I guess, right? And let's see who that is. That's going to be Double Tass. Congratulations on getting your Garen collectible little figurine. And it is an official League of Legends merch, so it's always great to actually get them. And yeah, so for now, that indeed is going to be everything. Once again, Double Tass, huge congratulations for that. And to wrap it up, thank you very much to all the teams that have taken part in the competition, but unfortunately lost in the group stages. Thank you very much to everyone that showed up on the LAN finals. It is Bulldog Esports, Alzec Status, it is Euronics Gaming, and eSuba, the victors, the champions of the ELC Legends series. #1 in League of Legends. Thank you very much to everybody that's created this amazing event. Leon, who's now taking his deserved rest on the couch right ahead of us. Philip, who's been helping throughout the not only the LAN finals, but also the online stages of this tournament. Willie, who's been the great admin in here. Lucas, who's been spectating. Sasha, who's producing, and everybody else. Huge shout out to our sponsors also. Battlefy for helping us organize this one of the, if not first, League of Legends tournament actually by ELC Gaming. Mountain Dew for sponsoring us with the great Mountain Dew drink. And this is ELC Gaming with Big Betty. Hopefully we can see you another time. Next week, we've got the LAN finals of Counter-Strike. And there, we're also going to get a lot of great action. So make sure not to miss that. It's Saturday, starting around the same time again.